सबका विकास कहता हूं तो इसका अर्थ बहुत व्यापक है। सबका विकास मतलब हर व्यक्ति, हर वर्ग, हर क्षेत्र का विकास। सबका विकास मतलब जीवन के हर पहलू का विकास, शिक्षा, स्वास्थ्य, कनेक्टिविटी, हर प्रकार सबका विकास। साथियों, इसी सोच के साथ बीते 9 वर्षों में अंडमान निकोबार में विकास की नई गाथा लिखी गई है। पिछली सरकार के 9 साल में, यानी हमारे पहले जो सरकार थी, 9 साल में अंडमान निकोबार को करीब 23,000 करोड़ रुपए का बजट अलर्ट किया गया था, जबकि हमारी सरकार के दौरान अंडमान निकोबार के विकास के लिए 9 वर्षों में करीब करीब 48,000 करोड़ रुपए का बजट दिया गया है। यानी हमारी सरकार ने अंडमान निकोबार के विकास के लिए पहले के मुकाबले 2 गुना ज्यादा पैसा खर्च किया है। पिछली सरकार के 9 साल में अंडमान निकोबार में 28,000 घरों को पानी के कनेक्शन से जोड़ा गया था। हमारी सरकार के 9 साल में यहां के करीब 50,000 घरों तक पानी का कनेक्शन पहुंचाया गया है। यानी हर घर जल पहुंचाने के लिए भी हमारी सरकार ने पहले के मुकाबले 2 गुनी रफ्तार से काम किया है। आज यहां के लगभग हर व्यक्ति के पास अपना बैंक अकाउंट है। आज यहां के हर गरीब को 1 नेशन 1 राशन कार्ड की सुविधा मिली हुई है। पहले की सरकार के समय अंडमान निकोबार में एक भी मेडिकल कॉलेज नहीं था। ये हमारी सरकार है जिसने पोर्ट ब्लेयर में मेडिकल कॉलेज की स्थापना की है। पहले की सरकार के समय अंडमान निकोबार में इंटरनेट सैटेलाइट के भरोसे ही था। हमारी सरकार ने समंदर के नीचे सैकड़ों किलोमीटर सबमरीन ऑप्टिकल फाइबर केबल बिछाकर इस परेशानी को दूर कर दिया है। साथियों, अंडमान निकोबार में हो रहा सुविधाओं का ये विकास यहां के टूरिज्म को गति दे रहा है। जब मोबाइल कनेक्टिविटी बढ़ती है तो टूरिस्ट भी बढ़ते हैं। जब हेल्थ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर सुधरता है तो टूरिस्ट का आना जाना और बढ़ जाता है। जब एयरपोर्ट पर सुविधाएं बढ़ती हैं तो टूरिस्ट यहां आना पसंद करता है। जब रोड अच्छी होती है तो टूरिस्ट अपने इलाके में ज्यादा से समय बिताता है। इसलिए ही अंडमान निकोबार आने वाले टूरिस्टों की संख्या अब 2014 के मुकाबले 2 गुनी हो गई है। यहां स्नॉर्केलिंग, स्कूबा डाइविंग, सी क्रूज जैसे एडवेंचर के लिए आने वाले टूरिस्टों की संख्या भी बढ़ रही है। और साथियों, मेरे अंडमान निकोबार के भाई बहन सुन लीजिए, ये तो अभी शुरुआत है। आने वाले सालों में ये संख्या कई गुना बढ़ने वाली है। इससे अंडमान निकोबार में रोजगार, स्वरोजगार की नई संभावनाएं बनने वाली है। साथियों, आज अंडमान निकोबार विरासत भी और विकास भी इस महामंत्र का जीवंत उदाहरण बन रहा है। आप भी जानते हैं कि अंडमान निकोबार में लाल किले से भी पहले तिरंगा फहराया गया था, लेकिन फिर भी यहां सिर्फ गुलामी के ही निशान दिखते थे। ये मेरा सौभाग्य है कि साल 2018 में मैंने अंडमान में उसी स्थान पर तिरंगा लहराया जहां नेताजी सुभाष ने झंडा फहराया था। ये हमारी ही सरकार है जिसने रॉस आइलैंड को नेताजी सुभाष का नाम दिया। ये हमारी ही सरकार है जिसने हैवलॉक और नील आइलैंड को स्वराज और शहीद आइलैंड का नाम दिया है। हमने ही 21 द्वीपों का नामकरण देश के लिए पराक्रम दिखाने वाले वीर पराक्रमी सपूतों के नाम, परम वीर चक्र विजेताओं के नाम पर किया है। आज अंडमान निकोबार के ये द्वीप पूरे देश के युवाओं को देश के विकास की नई प्रेरणा दे रहे हैं। साथियों, आजादी के 75 वर्षों में हमारा भारत कहीं से कहीं पहुंच सकता था, और ये मैं बहुत जिम्मेवारी से कह रहा हूं, कहीं से कहीं पहुंच सकता था। हम भारतीयों के सामर्थ्य में कभी कोई कमी नहीं रही है, लेकिन सामान्य भारतीय के इस सामर्थ्य के साथ हमेशा भ्रष्टाचारी और परिवारवादी पार्टियों ने अन्याय किया। आज देश के लोग 2024 चुनाव में फिर एक बार हमारी सरकार वापस लाने का मन बना चुके हैं, निर्णय ले चुके हैं। ऐसे में भारत की बदहाली के जिम्मेदार कुछ लोग अपनी दुकान खोलकर बैठ गए हैं। इन्हें देखकर मुझे एक कविता की कुछ पंक्तियां याद आती हैं। एक कवि महाशय ने अवधी में लिखा था, ये अवधी भाषा में लिखी गई कविता है। गाइड कुछ है, हाल कुछ है, लेबिल कुछ है, माल कुछ है। 24 के लिए 26 होने वाले राजनीतिक दलों पर ये बड़ा फिट बैठता है। गाइड कुछ है, हाल कुछ है, लेबिल कुछ है और माल कुछ है। यानी गाना कोई और गाया जा रहा है, जबकि सच्चाई कुछ और है। लेबल किसी और का लगाया गया है, जबकि प्रोडक्ट कुछ और ही है। इनकी दुकान की यही सच्चाई है। इनकी दुकान पर 2 चीजों की गारंटी मिलती है। एक तो ये अपनी दुकान पर जातिवाद का जहर बेचते हैं, और दूसरा ये लोग असीमित भ्रष्टाचार करते हैं। आजकल ये लोग बेंगलुरु में जुटे हैं। एक जमाने में एक गाना बहुत मशहूर था, मुझे तो पूरा याद नहीं है, लेकिन मुझे याद आ रहा है। एक चेहरे पर कई चेहरे लगा लेते हैं लोग, एक चेहरे पर कई चेहरे लगा लेते हैं लोग। आप देखिए ये लोग कितने चेहरे लगाकर बैठे हैं। जब ये लोग कैमरे के सामने एक फ्रेम में आ जाते हैं तो पहला विचार देश के सामने क्या आता है? पहला विचार देश के लोगों के मन में यही आता है, पूरा फ्रेम देख करके देशवासी यही बोल उठता है, लाखों करोड़ों रुपए का भ्रष्टाचार। इसलिए देश की जनता कह रही है कि ये तो कट्टर भ्रष्टाचारी सम्मेलन हो रहा है, कट्टर भ्रष्टाचारी सम्मेलन हो रहा है। ये लोग गा कुछ और रहे हैं, हाल कुछ और है, इन्होंने लेबल कुछ और लगाया हुआ है, माल कुछ और है। इनका प्रोडक्ट है 20 लाख करोड़ रुपए के घोटाले की गारंटी। 20 लाख करोड़ रुपए के घोटाले की गारंटी। साथियों, इस बैठक की एक और खास बात है, अगर कोई करोड़ों के घोटाले में जमानत पर है तो उसे बहुत सम्मान की नजर से देखा जाता है। अगर पूरा का पूरा परिवार ही जमानत पर है तो उसकी और ज्यादा खातिरदारी होती है। अगर किसी दल का कोई वर्तमान मंत्री भ्रष्टाचार के मामले में जेल जाता है तो उसे एक्स्ट्रा नंबर देकर स्पेशल इनवाइटी बुलाकर बुलाया जाता है। अगर कोई किसी समाज का अपमान करता है, अदालत से सजा पाता है तो उसकी बड़ी आवाभगत होती है। अगर कोई अदालत से करोड़ों के घोटाले में दोषी पाया गया है तो इस बैठक में शामिल होने की उसकी क्वालिफिकेशन और बढ़ जाती है। बल्कि ये लोग तो उससे मार्गदर्शन मांगते हैं। भ्रष्टाचार को लेकर इनमें बड़ी आत्मीयता है, बड़ा प्रेम है। इसलिए 20 लाख करोड़ रुपए के भ्रष्टाचार की गारंटी देने वाले ये लोग बड़े प्रेम से, बड़ी आत्मीयता से आपस में मिल रहे हैं। साथियों, भ्रष्टाचार की इस दुकान में जुटे हुए ये सभी परिवारवाद के कट्टर समर्थक हैं। न खाता न वही, जो परिवार कहे वही सही। लोकतंत्र के लिए कहा जाता है ऑफ द पीपल, बाय द पीपल, फॉर द पीपल। लेकिन इन परिवारवादियों का मंत्र है ऑफ द फैमिली, बाय द फैमिली, फॉर द फैमिली। फैमिली फर्स्ट, नेशन नथिंग। इन लोगों का मोटो है, इनकी यही प्रेरणा है। ये लोग देश के लोकतंत्र को, देश के संविधान को अपना बंधक बनाना चाहते हैं। इनके लिए मैं यही कहना चाहूंगा, नफरत है, नफरत है, घोटाले हैं, नफरत है, घोटाले हैं, तुष्टीकरण है, मन काले हैं। नफरत है, घोटाले हैं, तुष्टीकरण है, मन काले हैं। परिवारवाद की आग के दशकों से देश हवाले हैं। साथियों, इनके लिए देश के गरीब के बच्चों का विकास नहीं, बल्कि अपने बच्चों का, अपने भाई भतीजों का विकास मायने रखता है। आजकल आप देखते हैं कि देश में स्टार्टअप बढ़ रहे हैं। हमारे युवा बड़ी संख्या में पेटेंट करा रहे हैं, ट्रेडमार्क रजिस्टर करा रहे हैं। पोर्ट की दुनिया में मेरे देश के नौजवान छाए हुए हैं, बेटियां कमाल कर रही हैं। ये युवा शक्ति हमारे देश में पहले भी थी, लेकिन इन परिवारवादी पार्टियों ने कभी देश के सामान्य युवा की शक्ति के साथ न्याय नहीं किया। इनकी एक ही विचारधारा है, एक ही एजेंडा है, अपना परिवार बचाओ, परिवार के लिए भ्रष्टाचार बढ़ाओ। इनका कॉमन मिनिमम प्रोग्राम है देश का विकास रोकना, अपने कुशासन पर पर्दा डालना और अपने भ्रष्टाचार के विरुद्ध कार्रवाई को रोकना। अब देखिए, ये जो जमात इकट्ठी हुए है ना, उनके कुनबे में बड़े से बड़े घोटालों पर, अपराधों पर इनकी जुबान बंद हो जाती है। जब किसी एक राज्य में इनके कुशासन की पोल खुलती है, तो दूसरे राज्यों के ये लोग फौरन उसके बचाव में तर्क देने लगते हैं। कहीं बाढ़ घोटाला होता है, किसी का अपहरण होता है, तो कुनबे के सारे लोग सबसे पहले चुप हो जाते हैं। आपने देखा है कि कुछ दिन पहले ही पश्चिम बंगाल में पंचायत चुनाव हुए, वहां सरेआम हिंसा हुई, लगातार खून खराबा हो रहा है। इस पर भी इन सब की बोलती बंद है। कांग्रेस के, लेफ्ट के अपने कार्यकर्ता वहां खुद को बचाने की गुहार लगा रहे हैं, लेकिन कांग्रेस और लेफ्ट के नेताओं ने अपने स्वार्थ में अपने कार्यकर्ताओं को भी मरने के लिए छोड़ दिया है। राजस्थान में बेटियों से अत्याचार हो या परीक्षाओं के पेपर लीक हो रहे हो, इन्हें कुछ दिखाई नहीं देता। परिवर्तन की बातें करके जनता से विश्वासघात करने वाले जब करोड़ों का शराब घोटाला करते हैं, तो ये कुनबा फिर उन्हें कवर देने लग जाता है। इनका कट्टर भ्रष्टाचार उन्हें तब दिखाई देना बंद हो जाता है जब देश की कोई एजेंसी इन पर कार्रवाई करती है, तो उनका टैप रिकॉर्डर शुरू हो जाता है। कुछ हुआ ही नहीं, सब साजिश है, हमें फंसाया जा रहा है। आप तमिलनाडु में देखिए, भ्रष्टाचार के घोटाले के अनेक मामले सामने आ रहे हैं, लेकिन इनके कुनबे के सारे दलों ने पहले ही सबको क्लीन चिट दे दी है। इसलिए इन लोगों को पहचाने रहिए साथियों, उनको जान लीजिए। इन लोगों से सतर्क रहिए भाई बहनों। साथियों, इन लोगों की साजिशों के बीच हमें देश के विकास के लिए खुद को समर्पित रखना है। आज दुनिया में अनेक उदाहरण हैं जहां द्वीपों ने और समुद्र किनारे बसे छोटे देशों ने अभूतपूर्व प्रगति की है। जब उन्होंने प्रगति का रास्ता चुना, तो उनके सामने भी चुनौतियां थी। सब कुछ सरल नहीं था, लेकिन उन देशों ने दिखाया है जब विकास आता है तो हर प्रकार के समाधान लेकर आता है। मुझे विश्वास है अंडमान निकोबार द्वीप समूह में हो रहे विकास के काम इस पूरे क्षेत्र को और सशक्त करेंगे। कनेक्टिविटी की ये नई सुविधा वीर सावरकर इंटरनेशनल एयरपोर्ट का नया टर्मिनल्स सबके लिए लाभकारी हो, इसी कामना के साथ वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंस के इस कार्यक्रम में भी इतनी बड़ी तादाद में आप लोग आए, आपकी खुशी में यहां से अनुभव कर रहा हूं, आपका उत्साह में अनुभव कर रहा हूं। ऐसे मौके पर एक नया विश्वास, नया संकल्प लेकर के देश आगे बढ़े, अंडमान निकोबार भी आगे बढ़े, इसी कामना के साथ आप सबको बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
All right, let's take you across to the latest news. This has to be, viewers, one of the Prime Minister's strongest unsparing attack on a united opposition. If you heard what the Prime Minister said, he did not leave a single political party or a head of a political party without naming them, took each one of them head on. This has to be one of the most critical, unsparing attack on a united opposition, one of the strongest attacks by the Prime Minister, targeting the entire gamut of a united opposition. Why do I say that? Name it, right from the Congress, even Rahul Gandhi specifically. He didn't name anyone, but he made it very clear when he spoke about each political party with each political leader who are all together today in Bengaluru as a united force of 26 opposition parties. It's interesting if you read into and hear into what the Prime Minister said. He spoke of, without naming Rahul Gandhi, he spoke of leaders who insulted community and are then indicted by the courts and have paid the price of that. He spoke of Lalu Yadav, saying that the likes of Lalu Prasad, without naming Lalu, saying that, now they are being looked at, these are convicted people of corruption, being looked at as Margdarshak for a united opposition. Arvind Kejriwal, without naming him, the Aam Aadmi Party spoke of the liquor scam, even spoke of Mamata Banerjee of trying to shield leaders who are corrupt as well. And not just that, mounted a strong attack when it came down to dynasty politics, both attacking the Congress, attacking MK Stalin, as well as Mamata Banerjee, where he invokes the nephew angle to it as well. Bhai, Bhatija, Beta. All of that coming in together. I want to bring in Poulomi Saha, my colleague who's joining us right now from the newsroom, to take us through Poulomi, which has to be one of the strongest attacks mounted by the Prime Minister on a united opposition, an opposition that is meeting in Bengaluru today.
Absolutely. This is possibly one of the strongest attacks that comes on a day that the opposition is meeting in Bengaluru to strategize how they're going to take on the Bharatiya Janata Party in the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Like he said, without naming a lot of leaders directly, he of course took pot shots at them, specifically of course concerning dynastic politics as well as corruption. He in fact goes on to say, and he said that this is all about family first and nation nothing, that this is about protecting their families, this is about protecting dynasties, is what this entire coalition is about. Parivar Bachao, Bhrashtachar Badhao is what the Prime Minister said, that this coalition is all about the corrupt who've come together at this Sammelan. He said, in fact, that this is about the opposition trying to open its dukaan in order to protect the corrupt. Opposition wale apni dukaan kholkar hame rokna chahte hain. Now, this dukaan reference, of course, is to Rahul Gandhi, who refers to Mohabbat ki dukaan when he counters the Bharatiya Janata Party. Then of course, it comes to Arvind Kejriwal as well, saying that these are parties that are kattar bhrashtachar. Kattar Imandar is what Arvind Kejriwal says of the Aam Aadmi Party and leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party, who of course been found allegedly practicing corruption, and they are of course serving time in jail at the moment, and of course awaiting trial in their cases as well. But of course this is the attack that the Prime Minister has leveled against the opposition. Ye kattar bhrashtachari sammelan hai is what he said about this conglomerate, which is of course the opposition parties of 26 parties that have come together to meet in Bengaluru today, of course being their second meeting. He also in fact mentioning that as far as Bengal Panchayat elections is concerned, there are of course local leaders of the Congress and the left who are, constantly trying to draw the attention of their high command, their top brass, as far as the national parties are concerned, to of course the alleged atrocities that are being committed against their local unit workers by the ruling Trinamool. But then of course the fact is that the TMC and the Congress, the TMC and the left, as far as the top brass is concerned, they're seated in one room in Bengaluru as they of course try to strategize how to take on the Bharatiya Janata Party. So clearly the Prime Minister is saying that they don't care for what their local units have to say, they don't care for their workers dying on the ground as long as their own ambition to take on the Bharatiya Janata Party is fulfilled. Preeti.
Well, viewers, kid no one. One thing is very clear. This has been one of the strongest attacks mounted by the Prime Minister on a united opposition. Like Paulomi also took us through the various instances that the Prime Minister referred to without naming a single political party, without naming a single political leader. He made sure that he went on to attack each one of them. He also primarily stated that the entire opposition together, 26 political parties of them, collectively have led to a corruption of over 20 lakh crore rupees or even more. Also saying that the people have made up their mind that in 24 they're going to vote the BJP, and for 24, 26 have got together. Paulomi, I just want to bring you in because very rarely have we seen the Prime Minister go after all political parties at one go. If you look back, he's made some very, very strong speeches on the floor of the parliament as well, sometimes or mostly attacking the Gandhi family or the Congress in general, to bring in the entire gamut of the opposition without naming a single political leader, leaving no one. Talking of Lalu, talking of Nitish, talking of Bengal, the violence there, talking of Mamta breaking bread with the Gandhis, talking of nephew, bhai, bhatija, beta, where dynastic politics is concerned, talking about the Dukan, which Rahul Gandhi refers to as well, of there are only two things available at this Dukan. It's interesting in the context that today, while the opposition, 26 political parties are meeting, Paulomi, starting 3 p.m., 38 alleged political parties, which the BJP alleges are going to be with them, will also be meeting for their conclave. Clearly, the BJP is keenly watching what is going on in Bangalore, keeping in mind the language of the Prime Minister today, a full-blown attack on the opposition, followed by the key NDA meet later.
Absolutely. There is no doubt about the fact, Preeti, that the BJP is watching very keenly what's happening as far as this opposition or anti-Modi, anti-BJP bloc is concerned. What's happening on that front? They're watching those developments since, of course, this bloc met in Patna on June 23rd, because these are opposition parties which have still some heft and might as far as various states are concerned in terms of regional politics, and of course on the national level as well. The Congress very recently defeated the BJP in Karnataka. So clearly, as far as these parties are concerned, they are watching the developments very keenly. Of course, the challenge lies before these 26 opposition parties to, of course, reconcile all their differences, come together at the table in a way that they are able to arrive at some sort of a common minimum program, a seat-sharing arrangement ahead of the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. That still is a very tall ask as far as these 26 opposition parties are concerned. But the NDA and the BJP, of course, watching it very closely. And then, of course, that meeting that is to happen at about 5:30 p.m. this evening in Delhi, which the Prime Minister will be attending himself. Clearly, the BJP now flexing its own muscle and saying this is 26 versus 38.
26 versus 38, and it all boils down to elections 2024. So in terms of just the figures there, we're giving them out to you. Paulomi, do stay on with us. Because like I said, till now, ever, if you look at the history of political commentary of the Prime Minister, this has to be one of the strongest attacks mounted on a united opposition by the Prime Minister. He left no one. Name it. 26 political parties there. He referred to possibly each one of the big players indirectly without naming them, but making it very, very, very clear. Listen in to some of the statements made by the Prime Minister a short while ago.
गाइड कुछ है, हाल कुछ है, लेबिल कुछ है, माल कुछ है। 24 के लिए 26 होने वाले राजनीतिक दलों पर ये बड़ा फिट बैठता है। गाइड कुछ है, हाल कुछ है, लेबिल कुछ है और माल कुछ है। यानी गाना कोई और गाया जा रहा है, जबकि सच्चाई कुछ और है। लेबल किसी और का लगाया गया है, जबकि प्रोडक्ट कुछ और ही है। इनकी दुकान की यही सच्चाई है। इनकी दुकान पर दो चीजों की गारंटी मिलती है। एक तो ये अपनी दुकान पर जातिवाद का जहर बेचते हैं और दूसरा ये लोग असीमित भ्रष्टाचार करते हैं। आजकल ये लोग बेंगलुरु में जुटे हैं।
All right, let's cut across back to my colleague Polumi Saha. Lots going to go down today, viewers, in terms of just politically as it all pans out. 26 political parties of the opposition already meeting, live visuals coming in from there. Lots of meet and greet. You have Lalu, you have his son, Tejasvi, who is the Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar. You have him standing with the Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka, Manoj Jha, our Rajya Sabha MP there. All of that. You have Gurdeep Sapal from the Congress. You have KC Venugopal. All of them. A lot of meet and greet going on right now when all the political parties, 26 of them, come together in Bengaluru, Karnataka. But very soon from now, 38 political parties are going to come together of the NDA as well. Who are those political parties? Interesting to note. Pauline, I want to bring you in, in that conversation. The BJP could have picked any possible date to have this NDA meet. Clearly, this is a face-off of a sorts which is going to take place today, a conclave versus conclave of the NDA, or what was once the UPA.
Absolutely. The BJP, of course, strategically chose this date in order to announce that there will be this NDA meeting. The first time that NDA parties are having a meeting in Modi Sarkar 2.0. So since 2019, the first time that the NDA parties are meeting. This, of course, comes in the year that the NDA is celebrating 25 years of an alliance. The Prime Minister, of course, said, speaking on that occasion, that this is a rare opportunity when, of course, so many parties, an alliance which has withstood the test of time, he said, that has in fact, stayed strong for 25 years and is standing tall even as we speak. So that is, of course, what the Prime Minister said. Little, of course, was, known about that moment, because at that point of time, it came right before, just a few days before, in fact, the government celebrated 9 years of being in power since 2014. There was much, of course, hype and hoopla around that 9 years of government, and the NDA's 25th anniversary just came just a few days before that. But then, of course, today the NDA meets, and this time, of course, will include some existing allies, some new allies as well, which includes, of course, for instance, the Eknath Shinde faction of the Shiv Sena, the Ajit Pawar faction of the NCP, Chirag Paswan, Jitan Ram Manjhi, Om Prakash Rajbhar. These are some of the parties which will, in fact, attend that meeting today as well. Of course, there are old allies which are not part of this alliance, and there was a lot of criticism of the BJP because of that, including the Shiromani Akali Dal, the TDP, the JDU, which left this alliance in the last few years, and hence there was a criticism that the BJP was making all of its allies insecure, was flexing its muscles so much that people were leaving the BJP's side, and hence today, of course, this is the show of strength by the BJP-led NDA.
Many questions also, Polami, what comes off with the alliance? Is there a possibility where the Akalis are concerned. What about the JDS? So much being, spoken of that. But the BJP leaders, Paulomi, will also have a little bit of, a conundrum trying to explain certain alliances, especially in the graft charges that the Prime Minister has made, be it, sitting with the likes of Ajit Pawar with just about 2 weeks ago, a fortnight ago, the Prime Minister spoke of, in terms of the corruption and the NCP, and most of those charges were laid at the doorstep of Mr. Ajit Pawar. Not just Mr. Ajit Pawar on that point, Paulomi, the likes of O.P. Rajbhar, highly critical of the Prime Minister, the kind of language that he's used in the past. All of that would be, sharing the dais with the Prime Minister today. So a bit of explaining from the BJP as well.
Opposition is going to charge the NDA and the BJP with saying that, if the Prime Minister calls this a conglomerate of the corrupt, that is the opposition parties, the 26 opposition parties that are meeting in Bengaluru, then the charge against the BJP is that those who have joined hands with the BJP are those who are, of course, trying to save themselves from any sort of action by investigating agencies, because it is the investigating agencies, the opposition alleges, that are used by the central government in order to target opposition leaders, probably scare them into joining hands with the Bharatiya Janata Party, or just go after them if they withstand that pressure. So clearly, that is going to be the opposition's charge against the Bharatiya Janata Party. The BJP, of course, will say that these are all leaders. If you start looking at the collective cases against all of these leaders who are, in fact, sitting in Bengaluru at the moment, be it Lalu Prasad Yadav, be it Tejaswi, and the charges that he faces, that is, of course, the Yadav family, be it Abhishek Banerjee of the Trinamool Congress, be it, leaders of the Sharad Pawar faction of the NCP, including, of course, former Home Minister Anil Deshmukh, Nawab Malik, who's still in jail. Various such leaders, when you start looking at that, the Prime Minister says that this is a conglomerate which, in fact, is has committed corruption to the tune of 20 lakh crores, and that is the charge against them, that they're trying to come together in order to save themselves from any sort of action. But action will be taken against them if there is proof, there is evidence of corruption and graft against any of these individuals or parties, then action will follow.
All right, Paulomi, stay on with us. I want to quickly, viewers, open up this conversation. I want to bring in our National Affairs editor, Rahul Srivastav, who's joining us from Bangalore. Very interesting, Rahul, in terms of commentary. A look back in the recent political history in terms of commentary by the Prime Minister, one can safely say this has to be, if not the strongest, one of the strongest attacks mounted on a united opposition. Without naming anyone, he practically named all of them individually at that, calling them, of course, a united opposition of the corrupt.
Pretty extremely unexpected lines. If you notice what the BJP's attempt, especially given the fact that the opposition is making, even if you call them strong but very visible attempts to unite, but and that BJP definitely has reasons to worry, primarily because a lot of the players who are part of this conglomerate that BJP calls the conglomerate of corrupt are from regions where the BJP was thinking of either retaining the inroads made in 2019 or perhaps make new inroads. And this coming together could well spell trouble. And also in a state like Uttar Pradesh, if there is any kind of a tactical alliance, the BJP's good tally there can get threatened. And that is why, if you see, there have been three basic attempts. One, to attack them and call them corrupt, dynasts and everything. And second element is project their own alliances in terms of India trying to get its own people together. And the third one, very importantly, is the splits and the damages to the opposition in terms of what happened to the Shiva Sena and the NCP. These are the three broad attempts by the BJP. One interesting element is that on this side, while they are yet to search for a chemistry, the attempts to create a good arithmetic as far as this coalition is concerned seem to be moving slowly, but definitely. The word from inside the meeting is that, one, there is likely to be a name to this coming together. It is not going to be an unnamed coming together of leaders or aggregators from various states, but there is going to be a name. Now, interestingly, 4 names were proposed, and Sonia Gandhi had a suggestion that there should be no term India in English in it, it should be something in Hindi. Mamata Banerjee does not want the term front inside in it. So the idea is to create a template of unity in terms of a name. The second
Rahul, UPA is truly dead now then. If we are coming up with a new terminology, what was once the UPA now, that can be laid to rest, buried. There's no UPA anymore.
Technically, Preeti, if you look, UPA has been dead since 2019. Primarily because a lot of its components did go out, but also it has never met like that because the numbers are so diminished. The idea since 2019 has been to get more and more players together. So if you see the parliamentary force strategy, it was never a UPA meeting as such. It used to have a lot of people from outside the UPA fold.
Right.
And the idea for the Congress was to at least put out a representation number. Yes.
Rahul, would you stay on with us? I'm interrupting you. The reason I'm doing so is we have a lot of political leaders on the phone line with us. Karti Chidambaram and Imran Pratapgarhi, both from the Congress, on the phone line with us. Karti Chidambaram, what do you make? I would reckon this has to be one of the strongest, if not the strongest, attacks mounted by the Prime Minister on a united opposition.
This is rather a very disappointing commentary of Indian politics. That if you are with the BJP, you're pure, and if you oppose the BJP, you're somehow termed to be corrupt. And if you are BJP, you're a democratic party, and if you're against the BJP, you're a dynastic political party. I mean, this is a very disappointing comment, political commentary which is being laid out. The NDA has put together a motley crew of political parties which don't have any presence in neither the assembly nor the parliament, and they call that an alliance. And the Congress party and other like-minded parties, including many chief ministers from regional parties, have come together to put together an alliance. The people of India will decide which alliance they want, which alliance they trust, which is the path India should go, whether a secular constitutional path is what we need to go, or do we need to go to a fundamentalist unitary idea of India. Do you want India to be the Hindutva version of Iran, or do you want India to be a constitutional secular country? The people of India will decide. But why cast aspersions on another formation when you yourself are putting together only a motley crew together?
Mr. Chidambaram, appreciate you joining us. Let's quickly get in more political reactions. Mr. Imran Pratapgarhi as well on the phone line with us. Mr. Pratapgarhi, the fact is the Prime Minister's mounted possibly one of the strongest attacks on a united opposition. But having said that, he made one thing very clear. Everything else is a facade. Ultimately, it's a conglomerate of the corrupt.
देखिए, फर्स्ट टाइम ऐसा हो रहा है कि अपोजिशन एजेंडा सेट कर रहा है और भाजपा बौखलाई हुई उस पर कमेंट कर रही है या फिर उसी नक्शे कदम पर चल रही है। पहली बार ऐसा हो रहा है। पहली विपक्ष की जो मीटिंग हुई पटना में, उसका परिणाम और उसकी बौखलाहट ये रही कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने महाराष्ट्र में सबसे बड़ी तोड़फोड़ की। लूट करके लोकतंत्र को लूट के पहले से सरकार चला रहे थे, उसके बाद फिर उनको एनसीपी को भी तोड़ने की जरूरत पड़ गई। तो प्राइम मिनिस्टर किस मुंह से भ्रष्टाचार पर भाषण देते हैं, जिनके साथ भ्रष्टाचारी नेताओं की एक लंबी फहरिस्त तो हेमंत बिश्व शर्मा से लेकर के सुवेंदु अधिकारी से लेकर के और अब जिनके ऊपर ईडी के केसेस चल रहे थे, उनको आपने मिनिस्टर बनाया, डिप्टी सीएम बनाया। तो प्रधानमंत्री किस मुंह से भ्रष्टाचार पर भाषण दे रहे हैं? हम तो सिर्फ 26 पार्टियां अलायंस में हैं अपोजिशन के। एनडीए के अलायंस में तो 38 पार्टीज हैं। अभी कल ही वो लिस्ट जारी हुई है। ऐसे में प्राइम मिनिस्टर की बौखलाहट है ये। उन्हें पता है कि अपोजिशन जिस तरह से यूनाइट हो रहा है, 2024 के इलेक्शन में भाजपा को सत्ता से बेदखल होना है, इसीलिए भाजपा इस तरह से बौखलाई हुई है और सीधे प्राइम मिनिस्टर को बोलना पड़ रहा है। प्राइम मिनिस्टर अपोजिशन पार्टीज को भ्रष्टाचारी बता रहे हैं, जिनके मैं तो ये कहूं कि 20,000 करोड़ अडानी के कहां से, कैसे, किस कंपनी के थे, आज तक उसका जवाब प्राइम मिनिस्टर पार्लियामेंट में नहीं दे सके। एक शब्द नहीं बोलते वो। कितने भ्रष्टाचारी दोस्तों को अपना भाई बताते थे वो, मेहुल भाई। तो ऐसे में मुझे नहीं लगता कि उनको बोलने का अधिकार है।
चलिए, इमरान प्रतापगढ़ी जी, बहुत शुक्रिया कि आप हमसे जुड़े। लेट्स कट अक्रॉस बैक टू माय कॉलीग राहुल श्रीवास्तव joining us from Bangalore. Rahul, that is going to be at least what the defense the opposition will mount, which will tantamount to, look at your very own, your breaking breath sitting with the likes of Ajit Pawar, OP Rajbhar, who till yesterday used the foulest language for you, who till yesterday you were calling the corrupt. So the Congress will have a counter, or the opposition, of course, will have a counter to what the Prime Minister has said. But what's interesting, Rahul, and one, would like to touch upon it, the sheer fact that the BJP, not unnerved, definitely, but looking at the developments very, very closely, because you have all these 26 parties coming together. The BJP could have chosen any other day to have an NDA meet. They've chosen it today. So it's going to be a practical face-off of conclaves, NDA versus whatever the new name is.
Definitely, I will not say that the BJP is not worried. Any political force which is planning to get anywhere close to what they were, say 303, especially because the BJP is a party that, if you consider the north and northwest states, there are 330 seats, out of which NDA's catchment was close to 290 odd seats. BJP alone, out of those 330 seats, managed to get 255. Now, any change as far as the coalition attempts or strategic partnerships by the rivals in these seats especially means that the BJP's tally may get impacted in its best catchment areas.
Right.
Second, if to compensate, the BJP was looking forward to newer avenues, that may get impacted. And that is why the BJP definitely has a sense of worry. And that is why, though Shiv Sena had gone away, NCP has been brought in, the fact is the idea of coalitions and strategic partnerships born out of this fact that these political parties are
Srivastava once again coming in. I just want to cut across to Mr. A. Sarvana from the DMK on the phone line with us. Mr. Sarvana, the fact is today you're being called out by the Prime Minister as a conglomerate of the corrupt. Nothing to do with any common minimum program. Your program is limited to self-gain.
Does the Prime Minister have the moral authority to speak about corruption? Who is Mr. Ajit Pawar, the Finance Minister of the BJP government in Maharashtra? He's mired in a 70,000 crore scam. Who called him out? Mr. Devendra Fadnavis. What is he doing now? Along with Mr. Devendra Fadnavis becoming a Deputy Chief Minister. And who is Mr. Praful Patel? A 5,000 crore scam. This property has been attached by the Enforcement Directorate, and he is part of the NDA. And in spite of all of this, the Prime Minister has the audacity to speak about the corruption. Here in the state of Tamil Nadu, the ADMK, all the ministers are corrupt. The CBI has filed charge sheet against the ministers. The governor, sent by the BJP and the RSS, is stalling the sanction, ensuring that the corrupt ADMK ministers are prosecuted. So has the Prime Minister been briefed about all these things? His speechwriters have not told him about all these things. And what is the achievement of the BJP? The only achievement of the BJP is to
Mr. Sarvana, but the fact is also... Right. Mr. Sarvana, corruption, of course, the opposition can have a clear counter, which you have elucidated. The Prime Minister also spoke at length of the limitations of your Gathbandhan, where there is quite really nothing that you are building together, but it's limited to Parivarwad or dynasty politics.
That again, I don't know. That's what the speechwriters of the Prime Minister is spinning out stale speeches for the Prime Minister. Are there not any dynasts in the BJP? Chirag Paswan, lot of dynasts. Ajit Pawar, is he a first-time politician? Is he not a dynast? Who is Mr. Jai Shah? Under what capacity he's become the BCCI secretary? How many dynasts we can point out in the BJP? See, every claim by the BJP is followed. The question is this: last 10 years you have ruled the country. What have you done for the people of the country? Are you going to still ask votes in 2024 seeking, what happened in UPA? What have you done? You said UPA is corrupt. How many ministers have been convicted in the last 10 years by the Prime Minister and the BJP?
All right.
None. Zero. Zilch. And what? Well, how can you speak about corruption? It's a joke. It's a big joke that the Prime Minister is speaking about corruption.
Mr. Sarvana, appreciate you joining us. We're going to continue getting our viewers' reactions, especially from the Bharatiya Janata Party as well. But this has to be one of the strongest, if not the strongest, attacks mounted by the Prime Minister on a united opposition. We're going to play out some of the excerpts. The opposition clearly angry, but what is going to build to today, viewers, is going to be a face-off of conclaves. At one end, you have, of course, the 26 parties. UPA is dead and buried. They're going to come up with a new name versus the NDA of 38 political parties. What are the contours of those 38 political parties? We're going to continue to get to our viewers as well as what is going down in Bangalore. A quick break to stay with us. News and updates continue on the other side.
How many more lives? How many more houses? How many more vehicles? How many more villages? And will nightmare drowns the north? India Today reports from every spot.
There are small children who are living in these houses, and this is the national capital we are talking about.
Each and every household, that's what we can see.
The holy shrine that saved Mandi from a disaster.
We report, we demand, we fix accountability. Maximum reporters, maximum coverage, monsoon mayhem.
Stock of the day clearly on the Nifty at least is Reliance Industries. The shares are up over 4% today. They've hit 52-week high levels. Now this is as a reaction as the company has announced its fixing of the record date for the demerger of the financial services arm. Now as part of the plan, the Reliance Industries shareholders will get 1 share of Jio Financial for every 1 share that they hold of Reliance Industries. I wanted to ask you, what are you making of this Jio Financial Services business? How will it really play out, and what kind of value unlocking can it really lead to for the Reliance Industries shareholders?
So I believe that there will be concentrated approach to the Jio Financial business because it is no more part of the the Reliance entire conglomerate, and being listed separately, I think it will provide another stock in the financial services to the investors at large who have not been holders of Reliance, and that to my mind is expected to drive the outperformance of the stock. We expect the stock to do very well and consolidate gains as it goes ahead.
Right, you did say that the stock is expected to do well. Now remember, the stock is already up about 24% from its lowest level this year. That was hit on March 24th of around 2200 and thereabout, and from that time a 24% surge already. How much more upside do you see on the Reliance Industries stock?
See, I look at it this way. We've seen dearth of information coming from the Reliance tables on any corporate action, and with this is the first where Jio Financial Services is being spawned out into a new baby. We will see multiple new disclosures coming in. So Reliance Retail is there. The Jio IPO can come in, and we could also see a lot of news flow on the green energy side. So I believe that the corporate actions will pick up frequency now, and that is expected to keep the stock firm and seek higher levels.
3,000, 3,100 levels. By when do you see Reliance Industries achieving these kind of levels?
So it could take a little more time than we expect, but difficult to put a finger on that. But I definitely think that it could happen by March itself.
Stevia, an artificial sweetener, is a plant derivative. Why is it being advised against? Is that the question on top of your mind? Well, that certainly is the question that many experts are asking.
Stevia, being derived from a plant, has generally been considered to be safer than the synthetic sweeteners. In fact, some studies show that stevia can help improve glucose tolerance. There are some studies which have shown that stevia can help lower blood sugar as well as blood pressure. So people who are consuming medications for diabetes or hypertension or are on diuretics must consult a professional or a doctor before consuming stevia, and they must also regularly monitor their levels.
It is to be noted that stevia falls in the category of sweeteners advised against by the World Body. But monk fruit extracts, which hardly is used in India, does not. Some experts say a blanket advisory was the need of the hour. Others do not agree.
Guideline has very clearly defined what is a non-sugar sweetener, and stevia is a part of it. So we cannot single out stevia. So there, as I said earlier, there are many non-sugar sweeteners. We very commonly used are aspartame and saccharin and now stevia, sucralose. All are part of the guideline. The evidence is studied for all of them. So stevia is equally harmful, I would say.
Some experts say some amount of confusion has been created with the new guidelines from the World Health Organization.
Stevia is a natural plant, right? It tastes like sugar but doesn't spike your glucose or insulin. So it's a safer alternative. As I said, it doesn't absorb in the body. It's secreted unchanged in the urine. So stevia doesn't really affect your body except that it gives you that taste of sugar that you need. But if we were to see stevia versus sugar, stevia will always win.
While some concerns around aspartame and other artificial sweeteners are justified, nutritionists worry it might mislead. Minimizing sugar intake and not using added sugars, getting processed foods out of the house, and not putting it in your body but into the bin is what is really needed. In New Delhi with Sneha Modani, Bureau Report, India Today.
Warm welcome, viewers. You're watching our continuous rolling coverage on what is panning to be a super political Tuesday. What a thriller. Why do we say that? It's going to be a clash of the conclaves. 26 political parties meeting where opposition is concerned in Bengaluru. We're going to bring in live visuals from there. And just about 2 or 3 hours from now is going to be the meet of the NDA. The NDA says it has 38 allies. 26 versus 38, all building up to what? 2024. Just to give out figures there, I'm Preeti Chaudhary. These are the headlines. Prime Minister Modi's unsparing attack on opposition, says family first, nation nothing for opposition. Reiterates Prime Minister's 20 lakh crore graft attack on opposition.
दायित्व कुछ है, हाल कुछ है, लेबिल कुछ है, माल कुछ है. 24 के लिए 26 होने वाले राजनीतिक दलों पर ये बड़ा फिट बैठता है.
Mega opposition huddle in Bengaluru underway. UPA to make way for a new name for the coalition. NDA counter strike on united opposition. BJP and 38 allies meet. Prime Minister Modi to attend the big mega NDA meet. Brij Bhushan WFI chief to appear in Delhi court today. Testimonies of wrestlers reveal harassment horror. Picture proof against Brij Bhushan also revealed. Tamil Nadu Mantri Ponmuni grilled for over 8 hours at Chennai ED office, summoned again for grilling today at 4 p.m. Congress veteran and former Chief Minister of Kerala, Oppns Chandi, passes away, was undergoing treatment in Bangalore since the last few months. A lot going on, viewers. You just heard the Prime Minister. Let's now get you what's the inside scoop on this mega huddle where the opposition is concerned. 2 likely outcomes expected from the meet. Number 1, UPA to get a new name for coalition. What was UPA 1, 2, 3 truly dead and gone? Now it'll be a new name coming in for the united opposition. Sources also tell us 4-5 names under consideration. Sonia Gandhi proposed to avoid using India and use a term which is the Hindi reference to India. Sources also say Mamata Banerjee says avoid term front. Panel to create a joint list blueprint. All right, so this is the initial deliberation, and that's the news that we are breaking. Cutting across to Rahul Srivastava from Bengaluru, breaking this news on India Today. Rahul, what was once the UPA truly dead and buried? A new name will be formulated. What could be the contours on which this new name would be based on?
Preeti, I will say that UPA is going to get evolved further, is going to get newer partners, because one thing which is significant when we talk about UPA is that till a few days ago, there was a great amount of aversion, especially among players like Mamata Banerjee, not to come to a state for a meeting of opposition which is ruled by the Congress party. And that has changed. Given the fact that Mamata Banerjee is feeling the heat in Bengal over the manner in which there was violence in the Panchayat elections, Mamata Banerjee definitely wants more allies and people standing around her. In fact, she is one of the motivating factors pushing Arvind Kejriwal and the Congress to come together on the issue of Delhi Ordinance. And that is why I will say that UPA is going to definitely get expanded. Congress definitely is moving into an unstated position of a pivot as far as this opposition unity attempt is concerned. And that is why the idea now is to put a template to what is being called a unity attempt, that united we stand. On every hoarding and poster we see, united we stand is a very strong element. Now that united we stand from a slogan will move to a template and a name. Now in that, there are 3 to 4 versions of it already under discussion. And while people wanted that at least one should be chosen, Sonia Gandhi wanted something to do with Hindi, not India in English. Mamata Banerjee does not like the idea of a front because she always has battled the left front in Bengal. So they are very keen that there should be a simplified term. What we are being told, that since the whole idea is to save democratic values, democracy or democratic something could well be the part. So NDA is National Democratic Alliance. What will these people, this coalition attempt be? One will have to wait and see. Right. But the fact is that they are coming together. There is one hiccup. Left parties are still very reluctant about the idea of being seen together in part of a front with Mamata Banerjee. I think one will have to wait and see what they go. The second, importantly, is not a common minimum program, but a common issues to be raised. And those they don't want to raise, say Veer Savarkar or communal issues, I think a discussion on that also is going to be there.
You know, Rahul, very interesting. You said that the left parties would have a problem with standing with Mamata Banerjee. One would have thought it is the other way around. But, the other big question, Rahul, you spoke of possibly Congress moving to be in pivot position on which rests opposition unity. Is that acceptable to the likes of Mamata Banerjee, to the likes of Arvind Kejriwal, especially Mamata Banerjee, who's constantly pushed for equal stakeholdership of this partnership?
I think, Preeti, some bit of political wisdom. I will not say pure wisdom, maybe a mix of political wisdom and political cunning. The issue is that Mamata Banerjee faces a very belligerent BJP in the state. Now, if she is looking for a wider arrangement in which she could definitely, if she's part of a front, and somewhere she has a less aggressive Congress and a left front when it comes to Bengal, that definitely can help her. And maybe part of a coalition, something to do in Tripura and the states where she wants to expand. One fact, remember, Preeti, unlike the NDA, where there is a certain degree of less contradiction, Ajit Pawar bringing in corruption element and others, all right. But I think that there are more contradictions within this coming together. And each individual player in this is also looking for self-gains. And that element is one of the stumbling blocks. And I think the key idea here would be pursue your own agendas, Go ahead with what you
Okay.
want to win. Let's try to come together where we can, and let's not attack each other.
All right, as I bring in, I'm going to bring in Rajdeep Sardesai into this conversation. Rahul Srivastava, we are streaming in live visuals coming in from the meeting. Interesting, the seating there. But Rahul, is Mr. Kharge chairing this meeting?
The basic thing is that this meeting is hosted by the Congress party. It is hosted in a Congress-ruled state. The Congress wanted to showcase its new triumph in Karnataka, and they spared no attempt. I think the whole city has been plastered with hoardings and posters almost everywhere. The dinner was hosting by the Congress party, and Mr. Kharge, what I am being told, is going to start the proceedings with an address. And I think from there on, the floor will be open for most of the leaders to speak up, 26 of them, in fact.
All right, 26 of them. 26 versus 38 of the NDA. The 26 still don't have a new name, all building up to another numeric figure, which is 2024. I'm sure you've done the math in your heads. Let's bring in Rajdeep Sardesai, our consulting editor, into this conversation. Rajdeep, just a short while ago, we heard from the Prime Minister. Would you reckon this has to be one of the most unsparring, if not the most belligerent attack when it comes down to a united opposition, not taking the name of any political leader, but right from Lalu to Rahul Gandhi to Sonia Gandhi to Mamta Banerjee to MK Stalin to Arvind Kejriwal, addressing each one of them, calling it a conglomerate of the corrupt?
Preeti, we are in election season. You will recall just a couple of weeks ago, the Prime Minister made a similar stinging attack on the opposition in Bhopal. This was soon after the Patna meeting which had taken place of this anti-BJP alliance which is being forged, this Mahagathbandhan, call it what you will. So it's not as if this is the first time the Prime Minister said it. He's been much more personal in these attacks, you could argue, but I think he has set the general template. What he's suggesting is that the arrangement which has come together in Bengaluru is an alliance of opportunists who are there for self-preservation. They have serious corruption charges against them. They're trying to protect, in a way, parties that in some instances are virtually treated as family-centric parties. And he's trying to contrast that with the alliance which is being forged, which has been forged in Delhi, which has the BJP clearly as the dominant force, and the others are much smaller parties. So he's trying to contrast the two alliances. However, remember, since Patna, much has changed. Who are two of the principal new faces you will see today in the NDA? Ajit Pawar, someone whom the Prime Minister in that very Bhopal speech had indirectly referred to when he referred to the irrigation and the cooperative bank scam in Maharashtra. Now, of course, Ajit Pawar's faction has switched over to the BJP. The other point that the Prime Minister keeps making is that many of the parties who are in Bengaluru are all driven by dynasty and family politics. Who is the other face that we will see today at the NDA meeting? Chirag Paswan. So look, this is now a battle of alliances being forged out of pure opportunism, and in the case of Bengaluru, you could argue out of sheer survival. In the case of the NDA, the need to respond to some of the challenges being thrown up in specific states by the opposition coming together. For example, an Om Prakash Rajbhar coming back to the BJP fold after having attacked the BJP is a sign that the BJP wants to ensure that UP remains its fortress. Take no chances. I think what you have in Delhi is an alliance which is being forged not so much out of desperation, but out of the BJP's recognition that you cannot be complacent about 2024. The alliance in Bengaluru, at one level at least, is being forged out of a sense of self-preservation and survival by parties who know that they cannot afford to suffer another heavy defeat in 2024. I think what will be the key, Preeti, is when you come to the real nuts and bolts. Seat sharing. Will the left and the TMC and the Congress agree on seat sharing in Bengal? Will the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress agree to seat sharing in Delhi and Punjab? I think these are going to be the real challenges for what we are seeing in Bengaluru. Seat sharing is not really an issue for the Delhi alliance because it is driven by the BJP. The BJP will give 1 or 2 seats to a Chirag Paswan, will give a couple of seats to an Ajit Pawar. They don't really have any major ally who will demand extra from them. And then, Preeti, there is the other factor, the other X factor. Lots of parties are not part of either alliance and they have their own bases. Biju Janata Dal in Odisha, the YSRCP and the TDP in Andhra, the BRS in Telangana, and of course Mayawati. So you've got, I think, two alliances being forged, one out of survival and self-preservation in Bengaluru, one out of a recognition that complacency will no longer work. You can't have an ekla chalo re attitude in certain key states. Why, for example, is the BJP now looking to even bring the JDS in its fold? When Amit Shah a couple of months ago said, the JDS should be finished. Because you realize that you need as many incremental votes as possible today in a state like Karnataka, which the BJP did very well in. Why have you broken the NCP? Because you recognize that in Maharashtra you cannot afford to have this strong Mahagadbandhan on the other side. So there is realism and opportunism which is driving these two alliances, and then you've got this these other parties who are trying to become like Switzerland and stay neutral. It is fascinating at one level how the politics is, how the political temperature of the country is changing, much like how the you've got extreme rainfall in the last few weeks in Delhi, and now you have politics also changing, not as turbulent but much more slowly.
Well, interesting analogy there, Rajdeep. But as we build up to the clash of the conclaves, Rajdeep, which is, of course, the NDA, and now the UPA gone, a new name will be formed. But having said that, lots of commonality in these alliances as well, Rajdeep. The sheer fact you spoke of Ajit Pawar, diluting the Prime Minister's speech today on his jibe of a conglomerate of the corrupt. You have the likes of Ajit Pawar. When he talks about dynasty politics, when he talks about Parivarwad, and a big chunk of his speech was surrounding that. Your latest poster boy of the NDA, Chirag Paswan, homegrown dynastic politics. On the other hand, you're trying to get in JDS dynastic politics as well as corruption, because there's been enough corruption charges there as well. You're looking at an Akali. What's so different when you come about dynastic politics or corruption there?
Yes and no. Yes, you're absolutely right that, look, when it comes to political opportunism, those whom you called corrupt yesterday are becoming your allies today. Those whom you referred to as Dinis yesterday are being happily welcomed into your party today. So, let's be honest. In that sense, you could argue that there is a relatively level playing field. But however, there is one difference. In Delhi, the alliance which the NDA has crafted is heavily dominated by the BJP. In Bengaluru, while the Congress is slowly becoming the pivot of the alliance, you still have parties like the TMC, the Aam Aadmi Party, the left and the DMK, who will, particularly parties like the TMC, who will demand at least in their state primacy. Mamata Banerjee wants the Congress and the left to accept her supremacy in Bengal. Aam Aadmi Party wants the Congress to accept their supremacy in Punjab and possibly in Delhi. Now, that problem is not there with a BJP Modi-centric NDA. It can be called NDA, but it is Mr. Modi-centric. For the last 5-6 years, you've never even had an NDA meeting. In fact, someone was telling me the last NDA meeting was 2014. So you've really never even had an NDA meeting. You're doing this only for optics. Most of these 38 parties actually bring very little to the table. The BJP wants to send out a message that they are more inclusive and thereby hope that some of the floaters like the Janata Dal Secular may be wooed by them. On the other side, I think the alliance is much more, I repeat, about survival. Will the Congress be able to play that role of the pivot, Preeti, is critical. I think one big change between Patna and now is Sonia Gandhi's presence. And Sonia Gandhi's presence suggests that there is a recognition that the Congress has A, that they will have to play a central role, B, that role will have to be of a consensus builder. It cannot be that, Rahul Gandhi, for example, has sent out signals in the past that he is only here to rebuild the Congress. He is not here for alliance building. Sonia Gandhi's presence, to my mind, suggests that there is a section within the Congress that now recognizes that we will have to fight this election by being more flexible, being more pragmatic, and reaching out to many parties right across the spectrum. So I think that's one interesting straw in the wind coming in from Bengaluru, the Congress's attempt to become a more consensual pivot. In Delhi, I think the straw in the wind is, I think the BJP has recognized, while we put all our eggs in the Modi basket, at least let's give the impression that we have a few other eggs also in our basket.
All right. Okay. You know, I want to bring in Rahul Srivastava because Rahul, what else has changed from Patna to Bengaluru? Of course, the presence of Sonia Gandhi is also the sheer fact that the likes of the TMC and the likes of the Aam Aadmi Party, who were not quite comfortable with attending a joint conclave of sorts in a Congress-ruled state, has submitted to doing so this time. Has that stance changed? Because yes, you know, Rajdeep is bang on when he suggests that at least there's a clear understanding of leadership where it comes down to the BJP. Forget about the big brother, the all-powerful is the BJP, and then you've got the rest. Here, most of them wanted equal stakeholding, a stake where this partnership was concerned. That's shifting now?
With a lot many questions in what you have said. See, one important fact which I want to flag about that discussion you had with Rajdeep, this issues about dynasty and corruption is not a standalone item. It never wins you elections in India. It is a plus. Now, if a leader, it does not depend on arithmetic only, it depends on chemistry. Narendra Modi, if you hurl, it depends on whether you hurl corruption or the charges, like there was Rafale last time around, that the BJP went to elections. But did it hurt the BJP? It did not. In fact, BJP came back with larger numbers, though there was Balakot, there was all that factor. But that means corruption did not stick. The BJP similarly tried dynasty and corruption in Bengal. But did it help the BJP? It did not. It did not because there was a Mamata Banerjee. So these issues will eventually depend on the chemistry of that coalition. And right now, that's with Narendra Modi, though maybe diminishing. The fact is that he enjoys that position right now. Will it last till 2024? Certainly not. Then the question of this coalition. Definitely, I will say, like I said about aggregators, as far as the NCP, a lot of the players here who are coming into this coalition are aggregators in their own state. They are wanting to expand. And Arvind Kejriwal, for example, has come to this meeting following a nuanced assurance on the Delhi ordinance. But why has he come? He has come primarily because can he get left out at a time when he's being attacked by the BJP? Can Mamata Banerjee be left alone at a time when there is a coming together, which in future can be helpful for the TMC? I think there are a lot of self-interest involved in it. It is not a large coalition, as Rajdeep was saying. There are a lot of people out of the opposition fold. It represents some 170, 180 odd seats. But the fact is that the coming together in these seats, everybody is looking for their own turf and territory. It may ask people, Congress is getting accommodative, it is getting inclusive. It brought in Arvind Kejriwal on the hoardings and posters in the meeting here. But the fact is somewhere that the Congress is also wary of the fact that these players like Trinamool and Aam Aadmi Party in the coming days may end up attacking the Congress party and may try to eat the Congress pie. All these contradictions are there. I think the idea is first to put an arithmetic in place and then discover the chemistry.
Rahul, and one of those contradictions right now playing out in the next news break that we are just going to go to. And that contradiction that you spoke of is what the Aam Aadmi Party and the TMC feels, echoed by the BRS. Because the BRS is fighting the Congress in Telangana and of course fighting the BJP on a national level, at least ideology-wise is what they suggest. Let's cut into the news break. BRS, at the time when the opposition is meeting, has hit out at the Congress and Rahul Gandhi, stating that that the state cadre has failed to attack the BJP. That is what the BRS says. Rahul must understand the meaning of unity. Congress chairs meets with vested interest. That's the latest coming in. The BRS's attack on the Congress veiled as well in terms of because the BRS, Rajdeep, is caught in a conundrum. It's a rock in a hard place, but let's listen in to the commentary coming in from the BRS, and we're going to cut across back to Rajdeep to possibly analyze of why the BRS is saying what it is.
very clearly we continue to remain against both these national parties, Bharatiya Janata Party and Congress, because today those who have joined the Congress also in that meeting definitely believe that Congress party cannot steer this whole alliance. Because if you see that there are, if at all, state polls in Delhi or in West Bengal, again the Congress party will call the Aam Aadmi Party as the team B of the Bharatiya Janata Party. They have called even Mamta Didi as team B of Bharatiya Janata Party. They have done the same with Shiv Sena. Congress thinks that they can steer this opposition unity, but first...
All right, let's cut across now to Rajdeep Sardesai, consulting editor. Rajdeep, one of the contradictions that Rahul and I were speaking of playing out right now on live television, understandably, it's a conundrum where the BRS is concerned. End of the year, they face off with the Congress in Telangana, ideologically against the BJP. Can't go with the BJP because it's advantage Congress in the state. Can't go with the BJP because ultimately the BJP could take over the state in terms of politics. But do you see this at some level extending an olive branch to this opposition unity somewhere down the line, suggesting that the Congress also needs to rethink its stand when it comes down to state-wise politics, especially giving examples of West Bengal, Punjab, Delhi and Telangana?
Look, I think K. Chandrasekhar Rao is one of those mercurial politicians who you never know what he will do next. This is someone who was fancying himself as the leader of a third front, of a federal front, only 6-9 months ago. Was visiting the likes of Nitish Kumar, Mamta Banerjee, talking of creating a non-Congress, non-BJP front. I think KCR at the moment, eyes are firmly focused on winning Telangana. Once and if he wins Telangana, which will go to the polls in December, then he will weigh his options. Then he will believe that he is in a position to bargain possibly with a Congress-led alliance, because at this stage, he can't afford to do so. At this stage, KCR has two problems. Look, the ED is at his door. They have been questioning his daughter in the Delhi liquor scam. They have been questioning several of his MLAs. He also knows that the Congress is a little resurgent in Telangana after their victory in Karnataka. So he knows that the Congress at the moment is his prime opponent in Telangana. At the same time, he is aware that he cannot afford to give too much space to the BJP. So KCR is someone who's trying to navigate a very delicate line between the Congress and the BJP till December. After December, depending on how the political scenario unfolds, he will take his will make his decisions.
For the BRS, for KCR, who is the bigger evil politically, the Congress or the BJP?
For the next 5 months, it's the Congress. KCR is very clear. To win Telangana, he has to defeat the Congress as his main opponent. After December, then he opens up his options. Similarly, the Jagan Reddy and Chandrababu Naidu main target is the assembly polls next year. Once whoever wins those polls will then negotiate with Delhi depending on who is in power. Those 40 odd seats, 42 I think from Andhra Pradesh, or old Andhra, that's Andhra plus Telangana, 17 in Telangana, 25 in Andhra, will be decided. Whoever wins those will make their post-poll deals. You see, you have all these players, the likes of Naveen Patnaik, 25 seats in Odisha. Now he's someone who, as I maintain, is like Switzerland. He's the Switzerland of India politics. He's playing a strongly neutral role, or trying to emerge neutral, but will negotiate with whoever comes to power.
But when it comes down to treaties, Rajdeep, when it comes down to the Rajya Sabha or the Lok Sabha, he does swing towards the BJP. So it's not really as neutral as one would...
Because they...
Yes.
No, Preeti, that's because at the moment, the BJP is in power in Delhi. Tomorrow you put the Congress in power in Delhi, Naveen Patnaik will fall in line. He has an Odisha first strategy. Similarly, you've got Jagan Mohan Reddy, who certainly has been dealing with the BJP for the last 5 years, but knows that if governments were to change in Delhi, he will blow with the wind. So you've got about, what are they, in about 100 seats across the country. That's Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, these two states, about 80 seats. You have these players who will look for post-poll deals.
Right.
So you've got the post-poll deal players, you've got the pre-poll deal players. Now you've got someone like JDS. What does JDS do in Karnataka? They've just been demolished in a state election. They want to maintain their relevance. How do they maintain their relevance? Possibly if they tie up with the BJP, they are able to corner the Congress and then hope to fight another day in 5 years from now. You know, all these political parties are all looking at self-interest. There is no ideology. So, kuch bhi ho sakta hai. What is said today can be changed tomorrow. The things Arvind Kejriwal said about Sonia Gandhi and the Congress in the past, and now look at him, he's supping with the same Congress.
Or
This
what
is
the
how
Congress said
politics
about
are.
Mr. Kejriwal just about a month ago. But, you know, what would be interesting, and we're going to do it, we're going to put out the map of India, especially at the end of this meet, where 38 versus 26, building up to 24. What does it look like in terms of arithmetic and the math of it? For now, Rajdeep Sardesai, Rahul Srivastav, appreciate you joining us. We're going to cut across to Rajdeep's interview of Chirag Paswan, who's joined now the NDA. He'd be sitting with the Prime Minister and Mr. Amit Shah at the meeting of the NDA beginning just about 3 hours from now. That interview, exclusive, coming up next.
Diet sodas, sugar-free tablets, artificial sweeteners. Do all of these give you a sense of assurance that you are staying away from sugar and that these are healthy alternatives? Well, it is not that simplistic as you think it is. Each of these artificial sources of sugar are unhealthy. Let us break this down for you. Diet soda is a go-to for people who love the taste of regular soda but can do without the sugar and calories. An average can of regular cola may contain a whopping 37 grams of sugar, and consuming too much sugar is linked to outcomes like obesity and poor heart health. So it makes sense that you may seek out a sugar-free alternative. But while drinking diet soda does help people reduce their sugar intake, this simple act can also expose a person to other ingredients that may be linked to some other health problems. The acidity in certain types of soda can lead to tooth erosion. Drinking excessive amounts of diet soda made with caramel coloring may result in teeth turning yellow. Some research suggests that artificially sweetened drinks are associated with a greater risk of obesity. If you opt for diet soda that contains caffeine, you may have trouble getting some much needed shut-eye at night. Diet soda is void of calories and sugar. Certain varieties can contain phosphorus in the form of phosphoric acid. This mineral, though important, can play a positive role in bone health, but consuming copious amounts of phosphorus can negatively impact the calcium-phosphorus ratio in your body.
When the sugar increases in the blood, that means when the blood glucose increases, then it leads to many comorbidities like obesity, diabetes, fatty liver, then risk of cancer, heart attack also increases. There are mood alteration leading to irritability, then there's sleep disorder, and many more things can happen.
Why does this happen? Let me tell you the science behind it.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today News.
All right, the latest news break coming in. Exclusive details of Congress chief speech in the meet. Kharge has opened the conclave today, saying Congress not interested in Prime Minister post Congress chief. Kharge says BJP cheated NDA allies, also adding agencies misused against opposition, MLAs lured through blackmail and bribery. I would reckon, viewers, if you go into the initial reports that are coming in of the speech made by President Kharge, one needs to underline the fact that Mallikarjun Kharge has opened the meeting or the conclave of the opposition by saying Congress not interested in Prime Minister's post, at least laying to rest the fact that everyone is an equal shareholder. Who leads this, of course, the Congress possibly becoming the pivot of it, but who leads this in terms of the Prime Minister's post, if at all the alliance gets the numbers it intends to get, means that the Congress is really not interested in the Prime Minister's post. Something that has been said by the Congress president, indicating that would be left off for later on what the united opposition decides. I want to cut across to my colleague Moshmi, who's joining us on the phone line. Moshmi, very interesting with what Mr. Kharge has said, of course, speaking about the alleged misuse of agencies by the opposition, MLAs lured through blackmail and bribery in terms of horse trading. But I would reckon, Moshmi, one of the most key things that Mr. Kharge has said, which he opened his speech with, was Congress not interested in the Prime Minister's post, if at all this united opposition gets the numbers it hopes to get.
Right, Preeti, you've got that absolutely correct, because it's another thing to say it on the occasion of M.K. Stalin's birthday months ago, but it's another thing if you say it in that vein and even go further on to say that we are not interested in, gaining power and the PM's post in a meeting, second-tier meeting of the opposition. So, Kharge there, as I said, the Congress is ready to reach out to the smaller allies, is ready to do anything to stitch this coalition on a very strong footing. And the best it could actually do is send in a message that we are not trying to play big brother or bully the smaller partners into an alliance where we shall lead and we shall have the PM candidate. So clearly, boosting, in fact, the confidence of its allies and saying that we are well-intentioned, and that is the catch, because the BJP, Preeti, has been underlining that who is the doula of this Bharat that's taken off, and yet again, giving it back to the BJP, saying we are not power hungry. But the bigger question really is it just about the meeting? Because at the end of the day, when they travel that far and then 2024 elections are close on the heels, this question will be pervading and overshadowing all their agitations and fight against the BJP, because you have a big leader like Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the other side.
Well, interesting, Moshmi. We're going to keep coming back to you. So that's the big ticket news break, viewers, because interesting to note. You have Mr. Kharge there opening the opposition meet with one statement: Congress not interested to be the Prime Minister when and if the numbers are attained by a united opposition, leaving the floor open for discussion there, especially with political parties that have been uncomfortable with Congress taking the lead. So possibly Congress might come to be the pivot on which rests opposition unity. But having said that, making it very clear, not interested in being the Prime Minister. There is a clear difference there. Not interested in being the Prime Minister at one end is different from leading the united opposition, which really now it seems Congress is doing. With that, a quick break. To stay with us. On the other side, we have, all right, no break. We're going to cut across directly to an exclusive interview with Chirag Paswan. First reaction of Chirag Paswan on joining the NDA with Rajdeep Sardesai.
Joining me now is our newsmaker of the day, Lok Janshakti Party leader Chirag Paswan joins me. He's just back with the NDA. Chirag, just 15 months ago, you were at war with the NDA when you were evicted from your late father Ram Vilas Paswan's house. Now you are coming back to the NDA. What has suddenly changed?
Well, to begin with, Rajdeep ji, let me begin by saying this, that I feel so nostalgic and I feel so emotional today talking to you, because I remember my last interview with my father together was with you only. And so yes, I mean, this makes me a little emotional remembering those things. But coming back to your question, well, I wasn't really at war with BJP. I mean, even when my house was, when it was evicted, I was to do that because I wasn't really authorized to continue staying in that house because I wasn't really eligible. But then, yes, the way I was thrown out of the house, that was one of the concerns. But my fight is not for my, it's not for me individually, I have bigger goals. It's more for my party, it's more for my state. So yes, I mean, alliances are made on that basis, not keeping your personal benefits in mind. It's always for the benefit of the party, benefit of the state, and more importantly, your ideology that you believe in. So yes, I mean, coming back in an Indian alliance is keeping all those things in mind.
But who needs whom more? Do you need the BJP or does the BJP need you? Because for the last couple of years, the BJP has supported your father's brother and made him even a union minister while you were cast aside because of your war with Nitish Kumar. Now Nitish Kumar joins the opposition and you are back in the NDA. So who needs whom more? Do you need the NDA or the BJP, or does the BJP need you now before 2024?
I think in an alliance, everyone complements each other, and that's why the alliance is made. So I think it's not the question of who needs who more. It's about together how strong we can make this alliance, and that's exactly what we are working towards.
But is there some deal? We are told that you have asked for 1 Rajya Sabha, 6 Lok Sabha seats, and you will be made a minister. Have you struck some kind of a deal with the BJP? Was there any bargaining that you had to do with Amit Shah before you have come back into the NDA fold? And have you asked for your uncle to be removed from the cabinet?
Well, about the ministership, definitely it's not a matter of concern for me at all. And when it comes to my uncle also, whether he stays in the alliance, whether he is not in the alliance, it really doesn't matter, Rajdeep ji, because it's been over 2 years now, and I'm way past all these things. It doesn't really matter what is he doing and, whether he's the part of the alliance or he continues to be the minister or not. But then definitely, yes, me and my party, we had our concerns, and which we wanted to have a clarity on before we officially say yes to the alliance. And we discussed all these concerns with the senior leadership of Bharatiya Janata Party, and yes, I mean, it was well appreciated, and is the reason why we are in India now.
But people will say that this is opportunism on all sides. BJP attacks the opposition, saying that the opposition is Parivarvad. Your coming back to the NDA, people will say, is also Parivarvad. So it all seems to me that because of 2024 Lok Sabha, sab kuch chalega. Anyone now will go wherever they can see opportunity. The BJP attacked the opposition for Parivarvad, and you are back in the BJP.
I think not anymore, Rajdeep ji. Now you cannot call me an outcome of Parivarvad. I mean, I'll not shy away from the fact, Vanshvad, definitely, आप वो मुझ पे डाल सकते हैं. But I think Parivarvad doesn't associate with me anymore. My family has broken away and they have drifted away from me. So no more Parivarvad. But having said that, I think when there are bigger goals, then these are not the considerations that you keep in mind.
What is the bigger goal? Is it to defeat Nitish Kumar? For Chirag Paswan, is Nitish Kumar enemy number one? If Nitish Kumar were tomorrow to come back into the NDA, you would probably leave again. Is Nitish Kumar defeating him your prime goal now?
Making my state, Bihar, a developed state, that is my bigger goal. My politics, I don't believe in a negative politics where putting down someone makes me feel better. My politics, I believe in positive politics, and is the reason why for me a developed state and working towards making a developed state, Bihar first, Bihari first is my vision, and I'm working towards that. So it really doesn't matter what my chief minister is doing right now. Any which way, I mean, people of Bihar have already rejected him. Right now, he might be the chief minister because of somebody else's support. But definitely in 2020, the people of my state rejected him. And I think in coming days and in coming elections, he'll not be a matter of concern at all. He'll be, but the people of Bihar is very indifferent to him now.
But you've got Nitish ji, Tejasvi and Congress on one side, and you will have BJP, Jitin Ram Majhi and Chirag Paswan on the other, maybe even an Upendra Kushwaha. Who is the stronger alliance ahead of the 2024 election? Last time NDA won 39 out of 40 seats in Bihar. Will you concede that this time it will be much more difficult given that you have a strong Mahagathbandhan on the other side?
I think it will be easier comparatively, Rajdeep ji. And I'm not giving a political answer. Even if you look at the stats, as I say, that the people of my state, they don't trust, they don't believe my chief minister anymore. And is the reason why, if he's a part of any alliance, negative voting starts taking place for that alliance, you know. And if you see the results of the recent by-polls that took place in my state, so that clearly shows that that whichever part my chief minister is of any alliance, the people of state start drifting away, and this makes my belief even stronger that in coming Lok Sabha or Vidhan Sabha elections, the performance of NDA will be much better compared to Mahagathbandhan. Yes, definitely there was a time when Mahagathbandhan was strong in 2015, but the way repeatedly my chief minister shifted alliances, you know, so the credibility is in big question when it comes to my chief minister now, and is the reason why the people doesn't support him anymore. And this is not the only reason which makes my alliance stronger, but NDA as a whole, the people of my state believe strongly in our Prime Minister. They believe strongly in Bihar first, Bihari first, the vision that I carry forward. So yeah, that makes my belief stronger that in coming Lok Sabha, 40 out of 40 will not be difficult.
40 out of 40, but let's be clear. Would I be right in saying that Chirag Paswan has been used by the BJP? They wanted to use you to cut Nitish Kumar to size in 2020. So they made you float an independent, become a third front of sorts. Then they did not need you. Now they need you again because of the 2024 elections. Has Chirag Paswan been used by the BJP?
Rajdeep ji, I have my own party, and this was the decision taken by my party in 2020. No matter what the other says now for their political benefit, but the fact is that it was a collective decision by all the member of parliaments and our MLAs and MLC then, and we all collectively decided to contest alone, because the way we were getting cornered in that alliance because of my Chief Minister Nitish Kumar ji, we were hardly given any seats in that alliance, and also there was no representation of my vision document in the government agenda, because I really don't believe in Sat Nishay, the government agenda that run by my Chief Minister. So I wanted that a common minimum program should be there, and Bihar First, Bihari First should be incorporated in that common minimum program. But then that was outrightly rejected by the Chief Minister, and we were hardly given any seats, just 15 odd seats that was offered to us. So it wasn't possible for us to continue in that alliance, and very amicably with BJP we parted our ways, and is the reason why in 2020 my candidates were fielded only against Janata Dal United and not against Bharatiya Janata Party. So when you say that I was being used, I'll not agree to that, because that was the decision which was taken by me and my party, and not somebody else deciding for me.
Right. Well, one final question. What is your ambition? I remember when I did that interview with you and your father said his dream was one day my son Chirag can become the Chief Minister of Bihar, something I could not become. Is that still your goal, or do you want to simply be a mantri at the center, get back your house? That's your goal, or is your goal to become Chief Minister of Bihar one day, and will the BJP ever let you become the Chief Minister of Bihar?
My priority is my state, and I'm not here for the center politics. My priority is for my state, and I would love to be involved in the state politics only. And yes, I mean, when you are mentioning that interview, please mention that part also where my father said that I wanted Chirag to contest from Hajipur, because there are few who are saying this, that my father never wanted me to contest from Hajipur, and it was in your interview only that Papa said this very clearly, that I want Chirag to contest from Hajipur. But having said it all, I think it's the people who decides your fate, whether you become the Chief Minister, you don't become the Chief Minister. But one thing that is very clear in my head and in my mind is to continue working for the people of my state. My agenda to make my state the #1 state of our country, Bihar First, Bihari First, is what I'm aiming towards and working towards.
Okay, 26 parties on one side with the opposition and 38 parties, big and small, with the BJP. Is it true that basically this is a BJP alliance? All of you are only there as smaller parties. It will be driven completely by BJP, by Amit Shah and Narendra Modi. And on the other side, you've got a Congress-led alliance. Chirag Paswan, 2024, battle of the alliances, who will win?
As I said, Rajdeep ji, it's not... it's about everyone coming in together. It's like a collective responsibility. It's everyone contributing for a common goal, for a common agenda. So I'll not say that it's just one party leading it all. I think it's a collective responsibility, whether it's on the Mahagathbandhan side, whether it's on the NDA side. I think everyone contributes, and there's a saying in Hindi ki boond boond se sagar banta hai. So I think everybody's got their own bit to contribute.
Now, the reason I asked you, because till the other day the BJP seemed to have forgotten all their NDA allies. Suddenly they are remembering the NDA allies. Chunav aa gaye to aapki yaad aa gayi.
So was the case with UPA also. And let's be very honest, I think this is how the politics of alliances work. You know, alliances are made most of the time near the elections only. You strengthen your alliances during elections, not that you don't remember them for the rest of the years. Yes, there are times and there are alliances which who don't remember their allies for the rest 5-4 years, and then they remember them during elections. But having said it all, I think this is how the politics of alliance works. I think the same goes for UPA also. You call it UPA, you call it Mahagathbandhan. Today I think they are trying to figure out a new name also. So whatever these alliances are, I think during election time everybody wants to strengthen their alliances.
Let's leave it there, Chirag Paswan. We wish you well. We'll see how your new move as now firmly part of the NDA actually works on the ground in Bihar. But I thank you very much for joining me here on the news today. Thank you.
हमने किसी की हत्या कर डाली हो ऐसा हमें लग रहा है। सरकार से ये चाहता हूँ, हाथ जोड़कर रिक्वेस्ट है यहाँ पर आ जाए। अगर अभी हिंदू मुस्लिम कहीं हो गया होता तो सारे नेता वहाँ पर होते।
The blue-colored construction that you see there is a cow shelter located just below a bridge in Delhi. But the floods didn't spare it, and many cows and other animals were left stuck, battling for their lives.
काफी गायें जो हैं वो पूरी डूब चुकी हैं, जिनके अंदर पेट में पानी भर चुका है। 3 सांड मैंने अपनी आंखों से देखे हैं जो बुरी तरह से फूल के और तैर रहे हैं उसमें, जो मर चुके हैं।
अंदर स्नेक घूम रहे हैं, सांप घूम रहे हैं गौशाला में, और सांड आपस में लड़ रहे हैं। गाय एक दूसरे की तरफ भाग रही है, दौड़ रही है, टक्कर मार रही है। उनमें से गाय को पकड़ के रस्सा मारना और यहाँ तक लेके आना, आप देख लीजिए कि गौरक्षक गुंडे या सेवक आज यहाँ पता चल जाएगा। सारी गायों के रस्से बंधे हुए थे, अगर पानी का लेवल और बढ़ जाता तो वो गाय तो वहीं डूब के मर जाती सबकी सब।
However, these Gaurakshaks allege that no one from the government came to the rescue.
ये जमुना में ये गौशाला बना रखी है, 2-3 दिन पहले इनको नोटिस भी मिला होगा, ये गौशाला क्यों नहीं खाली करवाई गई? कोई भी सरकार की तरफ से मदद नहीं है। गौ सेवक लगे हुए हैं, गौरक्षक लगे हुए हैं, बस ये बोट जरूर आई थी, बाकी तो सारी गाय हम वहीं से खोल के और यहाँ तक ला रहे हैं और ट्रीटमेंट भी करा रहे हैं।
कैसे ला रहे हैं?
बोट के साथ 2-2 गाय बांध कर ला रहे हैं। इलाज चल रहा है, हमारे डॉक्टर भी हमारे पर्सनल आए हुए हैं। यहाँ तक तो दिल्ली सरकार ने वेटनरी डॉक्टर भी यहाँ पर अभी तक नहीं भेजे हैं।
But as for the government, they're doing all they can.
देखिए, उसके लिए NDRF की भी मदद दी जा रही है और डिस्ट्रिक्ट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को भी कहा गया है कि हर संभव मदद दी जाए और जानवरों को निकाल के सेफ जगहों पे लाया जाए।
This man you see here is the owner of the cow shelter. He has been taking care of the shelter for the past 13 years. When asked why the shelter was constructed near a flood-prone area, he claimed to have never witnessed such a calamity here before.
गौशाला है ना, वहाँ काफी अच्छी हाइट करवा रखी है। मतलब आप पुल के लेवल में अगर आप जाओगे तो पुल का लेवल है पूरा, वो उस हिसाब से भराव करा के तो वहाँ गौशाला बनाई गई। जीवन में पहली बार ऐसा अनुभव हुआ, आपको बताएं। और बाढ़ तो हर साल आई, पर वो पानी बार जमुना में आशीर्वाद देके चली गई।
Meanwhile, animal rescue scenes across Delhi NCR were also witnessed. In Noida also, many dog shelters were found inundated with rainwater.
On 13th July at about 4:30, the flood water started entering our shelter. We started evacuating dogs. We have about 350 sick dogs, and we managed to evacuate almost all of them so far, after rescue operations of about 30-35 hours. We have lost our entire solar panels, our entire refrigerator, our appliances, our oxygen concentrator, our treatment tables, all our medicines, food, everything. We have lost everything. Thankfully, our dogs are safe. We've had a few casualties as well because of drowning.
We hope that the water that has crippled the lives of not just humans but also of our communities, animals and wildlife recedes and normalcy prevails.
It is never too late to chase your dream. Anil Kumar Mishra took to art late in his life, but what started as a hobby has become a passion over the years. The the 70-year-old from Ramnagar in Jharkhand spends his time giving new life to waste wood.
मैं समझता हूँ कि ये कोई ईश्वरीय देन है, जो शक्ति है, जो मुझे प्रेरणा देता है और मैं इसको कार्य रूप में परिणत कर पाता हूँ।
Mishra's tryst with art started in 2007 when he was a school teacher.
गाछ है बहुत पुराना, हजारों साल पुराना गाछ है, जिसमें बहुत सारे दीमक खाए हुए हैं, बहुत टिड्डा रहते हैं सर। और उसी गाछ का टुकड़ा से एक प्रेरणा जगी हमको, और उसी गाछ के टुकड़ा से मैं एक बर्ड का भाव आया और मैं उसमें क्रिएशन का शुरुआत वहीं से हुई।
In the beginning, not everyone was his fan.
तो मुझे तो काफी बुरा लगता था, कभी कोई लड़ाई झगड़ा हो ही जाता था कि पुराना लकड़ी क्यों लेके आ रहे हैं। लकड़ी लाके जब इकट्ठा करना शुरू किए तो थोड़ा हो जाता था झगड़ा। जब बनाना शुरू किए तो जब पूरा बनने लगा तब बन के फिर बहुत अच्छा लगने लगा। अब तो खैर जान गए तो अब कोई बात नहीं।
Now his family and friends bring the raw materials for him.
सपोर्ट मुझे वो अगर गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से कुछ मिलता तो मैं और इसको आगे बढ़ा सकता हूँ।
Mishra has won many prizes for his art. He has created more than 1,000 sculptures. With Rajesh Verma in Ramgarh, Bureau Report, India Today.
Why does this happen? Let me tell you the science behind it.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today News Mode.
Very good afternoon. You're watching India Today. I'm Nabila Jamal. In fact, India Today's rolling coverage really showing all the heated political developments coming in from the country today. As we see, it's alliance versus alliance. The NDA versus UPA. While the NDA boasts of at least 38 parties as part of their alliance partnership, you have the UPA now suggesting that they have at least 26 parties who are on board to take on the Modi government. Now, it's a show of strength, a symbolic one on both ends. Of course, it's for the UPA this time to show its prowess a lot more, to come down to discussing seat sharing, who's really going to be the prime ministerial candidate. Can any one of them really take on the mighty BJP, the juggernaut of the BJP, the Modi Shah team? All that and more, India Today on its special coverage. Let's start with the headlines. Prime Minister Modi's unsparing attack on the opposition, says family first and nation is nothing for the opposition. Reiterates the Prime Minister's 20 lakh crore graph attack on the opposition parties.
गाइड कुछ है, हाल कुछ है, लेबल कुछ है, माल कुछ है। 24 के लिए 26 होने वाले राजनीतिक दलों पर ये बड़ा फिट बैठता है।
Mega opposition huddle in Bengaluru that's currently underway. Kharge says the Congress is not interested in the Prime Minister's post. Sonia Gandhi says a new name of the united opposition shouldn't have India in English. NDA counter-strike on united opposition. BJP and 38 of its allies all set to meet this afternoon. Prime Minister Modi also to attend this mega NDA gathering. The WFI chief all set to appear in Delhi's court today. Testimonies of wrestlers reveal harassment horror. Picture proof against Brij Bhushan has been revealed. And Tamil Nadu Mantri Ponmudi has been grilled for over 8 hours at Chennai ED office. Summoned yet again for grilling today at 4 p.m. Tragic news right this morning. Congress veteran and former Chief Minister of Kerala, Oppns passes away. Was undergoing treatment in Bengaluru for the last few months and loses life at the age of 79. As we see the united opposition now holding a key huddle here, we started to get reactions from that meeting. I'm going to cut across to this very meeting that's currently taking place in Bengaluru with at least 26 opposition parties all in attendance. Mostly the big major regional faces, including Mamata Banerjee, Nitish Kumar, Sharad Pawar also added this time, and a bunch of the other top netas of regional parties in attendance. These are reactions coming in as the first reaction of the opposition leaders from that very key meeting. I'm going to cut across.
जरूरी है देश के लिए, देश को बचाना है, डेमोक्रेसी को, इसलिए हर हालत में देश के किसान, मजदूर, नौजवान, माइनॉरिटी सबकी रक्षा करना है। नरेंद्र मोदी के शासन में बिल्कुल समूचा समाप्त हो चुका है।
मीटिंग जरूरी इसलिए है, देश को बचाना, लोगों को बचाना, पॉलिटिकल लीडर के साथ जिस तरह व्यवहार हो रहा है, और मैं ये कहता हूँ कि देश की 2/3 जनता भारतीय जनता पार्टी के खिलाफ है, 2/3 जनता खिलाफ है। तो इस बार भारतीय जनता पार्टी का सफाया होने के लिए सब एक है।
I think this is a good meeting. This is a fruitful meeting, and it's a constructive decision to be taken. All the agenda is very fruitful. Let us discuss it today, and if the outcome today, what we discussed, after that the outcome may be the good for the people of this country.
जो इस वक्त मुल्क के हालात हैं, जिस तरह हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को उसके साथ खिलवाड़ हो रहा, हमारी डेमोक्रेसी के साथ खिलवाड़ हो रहा, हमारी डाइवर्सिटी जो हमारे मुल्क की ताकत है, जो गांधी के मुल्क की ताकत है, सबको मलियामेट किया जा रहा है। इसलिए सब पार्टीज को इकट्ठा होके द आइडिया ऑफ इंडिया हैज टू बी सेव्ड।
I think it's important that we put up a united stand against everything that is going wrong in this country, particularly the way in which the constitution is being eroded, the way in which the secular fabric of this country is being undermined, and all sensible parties need to come together and unite in opposition to this.
हम सब लोग एक साथ इसलिए आए हैं क्योंकि देश के लोकतंत्र, देश के संविधान, देश की जो भाईचारा है, जो डाइवर्सिटी है इस देश की, उसको बचाने के लिए हम लोग सब लोग एकजुट हुए हैं। और जिस तरह से संवैधानिक संस्थाओं पर दुरुपयोग कराया जा रहा है, जिस हिसाब से देश की संपत्तियों को बेचा जा रहा है, इन सारे जो असल मुद्दे हैं, इन पर बात ना करके जो जहर की बातें जो है, जो नाकों से चलती है, उसकी बात की जानी है। इसलिए हम सब लोग मजबूती के साथ एक साथ हैं।
All right, now, even as the opposition unity meeting is currently happening in Bengaluru, we are receiving a lot of positive reactions from there. We see one of the states, West Bengal, where Congress and the TMC ideally faces off during elections. The Congress leadership there not very happy with this alliance that TMC is sketching with the Congress. In fact, Congress netas in West Bengal have accused the TMC of trying to target the Congress netas within the region, within West Bengal, and says that if at all Congress allies with the TMC, that would really mean the end of the party, or rather the fall of the party in the state of West Bengal. This is one of the TMC leaders one of the Congress leaders who's spoken against TMC, Suman, who says TMC and Congress's alliance will mean fall of the party in the state. In fact, accusing the TMC of targeted attacks and violence against the Congress netas in the state. He says the cadre was killed by TMC in West Bengal. If at all the Congress allies with the TMC in the central level, then this will mean the fall of the Congress party itself in the state of West Bengal. Listen in.
मैंने अपना हाईकमांड से अपील किया है, जिसके हाथ हमारे कर्मियों के खून से रंगे हुए हैं, उसके साथ किसी भी तरह का समझौता, किसी भी तरह का सीट एडजस्टमेंट नहीं होना चाहिए। ममता बनर्जी जैसा शख्स के साथ हम लोगों को नहीं जाना चाहिए, क्योंकि इसे कांग्रेस और भी मार्जिनलाइज हो जाएगा वेस्ट बंगाल में।
There you have the Congress neta who accuses the TMC of targeted killing, especially against the Congress leaders. This recent panchayat elections has been highly violent, volatile. Let me cut across to Ritik Mandal joining us, our correspondent right there from West Bengal. Ritik, go on. Congress party is all set to ally with the TMC on a central level, while you have many of them in the state level, the Congress netas, who are very upset. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary was one of them. Now you have more leaders coming out from the Congress to almost request the Congress High Command not to ally with the TMC, because that would mean the end of the party in the state of West Bengal.
Well, at a time when all opposition parties are getting united against BJP, and in the light of recent panchayat election which had been marred by violence and in which several Congress workers were allegedly killed by TMC goons, and at this point in time you have several voices coming from the Pradesh Congress itself. You have Shumon Roy Chaudhary and of course Kaustubh Bagchi, who represents Congress very widely in Bengal politics, and as per recent Bengal politics and the Pradesh Congress is concerned, Shumon Roy Chaudhary was one of the leaders who become very voice against this opposition, any coalition happening between Congress and Trinamool Congress, and he actually stated that this kind of coalitions just ahead of 2024 general election between Congress and Trinamool Congress will lead to the fall of Congress party in the state of West Bengal, and the workers in grassroots level, they won't ever support such coalition between or alliance between Trinamool Congress and Congress when their party workers are dying and they have been brutally killed in recent panchayat election. So these kind of voices are coming, be it Shumon Roy Chaudhary, who is the secretary of Pradesh Congress in Bengal, and another top leader of Pradesh Congress, who is Kaustubh Bagchi, known for his very being outspoken against Mamata Banerjee. He also tweeted last night that going against the party line, and they actually requested leaders like Rahul Gandhi to boycott Mamata Banerjee and party like Trinamool Congress from any such alliance when they are taking it up against the NDA or the BJP. So these are the voice which clearly shows, it seems like a very clean sheet sharing or agreement or any agenda, sheet sharing agenda between Trinamool Congress and Congress in the state of West Bengal. It won't be so easier for party like Congress or Trinamool Congress when
the seat sharing is secondary. I think the most basic here is the Congress in West Bengal. The Congress cadre in West Bengal are really worrying for their safety, and that's the most basic. They accuse the TMC of attacking them. We saw what violence ensued in West Bengal ahead of the panchayat elections, even ahead of the assembly elections, and Congress cadre in West Bengal right now worried and concerned of their future in the state of West Bengal. In fact, at this point, while the Congress is trying to strike an alliance with the TMC on a central level, here's the Congress cadre in West Bengal very worried about their own future in the state. Listen in. In fact, we have Tom Vadakan, though, BJP spokesperson, joining us on the phone line. Mr. Vadakan, go on. You have the Congress in West Bengal very worried about this alliance that's being struck on a much senior level or a central level. saying that on one end you have TMC attacking the Congress cadre in the local level of West Bengal, and the central leadership is striking an alliance and warming up to the same netas who targeted their leaders in the state. How would you look at this alliance itself?
Well, this is a kind of a grafting that is not organic in growth, where the ideologies are different. I mean, you are seeing that they have their own cadre people killed. The congressmen have been killed there. And it's right on the state unit to say that how can you have unity with a party that's killing our people? And then you have something in Kerala also happening. I think the leader of the opposition is wondering what are we doing with the unity talk with the CPM, while they are competing in Kerala, and their cadre, their leaders are also being killed by some of the ruling party partners. So that being the case, this is kind of a band-aid, I mean, just a kind of a grafting for temporary relief from corruption. So this is the voices that if you arrest somebody in Bengal, somebody from Tamil Nadu will speak supporting, blaming the institution like the CBI, investigating agencies like ED, and finally the BJP. So these are, echoing system that has been a new methodology be adopted. First they were doing it with international media, New York Times, BBC, and what have you. I don't want to go into names. But yes, this was an international, ecosystem working. Now they're trying to work an ecosystem where if you have a problem in Tamil Nadu, there are leaders from, say, Assam saying something, or leaders from West Bengal saying something, defending the issue. So, two ministers in Delhi are in jail. Two are likely to go to jail because the cases are very serious against them in Tamil Nadu. And they're fighting against corruption. So this is essentially a fight against corruption. A unity to kind of unify corruption, institutionalize corruption at the national level. That's all.
Right. Mr. Vadakan, thank you very much for joining us on that. Of course, this is quite a difficult situation for the opposition grouping, for them to set aside differences on a local level and come together at a national level to take on the mighty BJP. This is the second day of the opposition meeting that's currently underway in Karnataka's Bengaluru. Top brass of the Congress party, including Mallikarjun Kharge, Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, currently convening the meeting. In fact, this meeting is rolled out under the leadership of Mallikarjun Kharge at his home turf in Karnataka. Bigwigs of at least 26 opposition parties, including Mamata Banerjee, MK Stalin, Arvind Kejriwal, Nitish Kumar, Sharad Pawar, and others are currently deliberating on strategies on how to take on the ruling BJP, the Lok Sabha, in 2024. In fact, a lot of talk also now on how to strategize ahead of the monsoon session of the parliament in days to come. The second opposition meeting that comes about 3 weeks after the first one was helmed in Bihar by Nitish Kumar on June 23rd, and this is the second. Pledging for unity, the Congress chief Mallikarjun Kharge has said that Congress is not interested in the prime ministerial post. All they are concerned of is protecting the constitution, democracy and secularism, as well as social justice. That's what they're concerned of, and that's the larger cause of coming together to hoping to defeat the BJP in 24.
I think it is important because Mr. Narendra Modi got a chance to rule the country for the last 10 years, and he has made a complete mess of almost every sector in the country. He has created so much of hatred amongst the people. The economy is in shambles. There is so much of inflation. There is so much of unemployment in all sectors. So now I think it's a time that people of this country want to get rid of him.
प्रधानमंत्री जी का दिन प्रतिदिन कद बढ़ते जा रहा है, देश में नहीं विदेशों में भी। तो इससे अपने देश के जो विपक्ष के लोग हैं उनको ईर्ष्या हो रही है, दूसरे को सुख देख करके ईर्ष्या हो रही है। अपना दुख से तकलीफ उनको नहीं है कि वो कहाँ है। रोज विपक्ष रोज टूट रहा है, और 2014 से लेके और आज तक देश की राजनीति में हमारे परम आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का एक अच्छा व्यवहार है, स्वभाव है, काम करने का तौर तरीका है, इससे विपक्ष को जलन हो रहा है।
All right, there you have positive messages coming in from all the opposition leaders who are currently in attendance at that unity meet in Bengaluru. I'm going to cut across to Rahul Srivastav joining us for a lot more live updates and his analysis. Of course, Rahul, give us a sense. First of all, the big task here is for them to project themselves as a united front. Many of them facing off one another on local levels, but on the national level, they've got to set aside their differences and come together as one single unit, iron out those differences, and that's going to be the biggest task at hand. Do you see prospects of that as you're following the developments live?
Nabila, it has been done in the past, so there is no reason why it can't be done in the past. Coalitions have been formed which have been very disparate. Before elections, after elections, it is a different story that a lot of coalitions which were made during election time collapsed later or did not work out as far as the election are concerned. You see, in UP, Akhilesh and Rahul came together, Mayawati and Akhilesh came together, never brought results. The United Front and the Janata Parivar government, there have been examples against coalitions. But the fact is that given the threat perception that the opposition parties, especially the 26 which are here, vis-a-vis Narendra Modi, there is one clarity that they need to come together. It's a survival trick now. And that is why it is important for these parties to set aside their contradictions and differences to eventually find basic templates of unity. Now that basic template of unity could well be that they come together, create a name like UPA it used to be at one time. It may be an extended Parivar now. There is a hunt for a new name for this coming together. 4 names were in suggestion. One will be finally decided. Sonia Gandhi did not want the term India in English in it. Mamata Banerjee didn't want the term front in it. So the discussion will be on in that. The second is a common minimum program, the possibility that they create a common agenda. Now that's again a very difficult task because the left and the Trinamool don't get together. Congress and Arvind Kejriwal don't come together. So they are trying to identify in this meeting something which are called the common issues that they can be raising. Common issues which can be raised and common issues they should avoid. Say, for example, a Veer Savarkar issue can be a problem between the Congress and the Shiv Sena's Thackeray version. Similarly, NCP and PDP. So they are going to identify these broad templates on which they can work together. The bigger questions, these are low-hanging fruits. The bigger question of seat adjustment, strategic alliances, all these definitely will have to wait. Though they are the core of any coalition, but right now it seems what is more important is to build an arithmetic, stay together, somehow find templates to tell the people that there has been an incremental improvement as far as the coming together is concerned.
Well, you know, you did mention about the name change of UPA. That's also something on the cards that's being discussed. Give us clarity on exactly what Sonia Gandhi means by not wanting India in the name, Mamata Banerjee not wanting English in the name. There's still some confusion on that. Please explain to us.
See, one, I will say that this entire interpretation that UPA is dead, I think that will be incorrect, primarily because since 2019, when the UPA was a very depleted force, say for example, Lalu Prasad Yadav did not even have a seat in Lok Sabha. So it was a very depleted force. So every time that UPA met, it used to call several other like-minded, so-called like-minded parties to show a certain strength to the gathering. And that is why the UPS, I will say, is evolving out, getting expanded, and there will be a new entity replacing it. So what is important is that Sonia Gandhi does not want the term India, because India is a word in English. She wants some Hindi term to be replaced, like Bharat, Hindustan or something. Similarly, Mamata Banerjee has had decades of struggle against the left front in Bengal. So the term front is something that she does not want, because front will also mean that she is sitting together in the same front with the left parties in Bengal. And that's something which is slightly unacceptable to, in fact, even the left parties who do not want to be visibly, that will be part of a front with Mamata Banerjee. So it could well be a loosely knit, a name which is more of a, not a front or a union or something, but it could well be something else. We are waiting for a clarity on that issue, but definitely there is likelihood of a term. new template, and second, very importantly, a subcommittee likely to look into the very idea of what can be the common issues that can be taken up from here. No contradictions are going to disappear through this meeting. There is no magic wand inside, but definitely an incremental improvement or a step forward as far as the opposition unity is concerned. Remember one thing, these people represent 170, 180 odd seats in the Lok Sabha. There is another large chunk outside of opposition, the BRS, the PDP, the BJD and the YSRCP, who are still not part of the opposition effort. So we are eventually looking at three gatherings. One is the NDA, which is trying to expand, consolidate and confirm their vote banks. The second is the 26 odd parties which are here, and then the three who are virtually operating like independent republics.
Well, we believe that the fact that the Congress has managed to win Karnataka, BJP has moved out of the southern part of India entirely. Himachal Pradesh also, the Congress had its victory. So it seems like it's given quite a boost for the opposition parties to come together, really hoping that they can take on the BJP, which received 37.6% vote share in 2019. So the opposition parties believe that coming together would really mean, if they are united, they could definitely realize their dream of taking on the BJP in 24. This is the wish and the hope that they have, but the fact that they have such great, huge differences at local levels is something that they've really got to get past those hurdles first. Do stay with us. We have some big breaking news coming in. On the other hand, you have the BJP now launching this all-out attack on the opposition unity meeting. In fact, here you have Tejasvi Surya, who's commented on this meeting, saying Alibaba and Charlie's Chor. This is Tejasvi, who's spoken, who resides himself in Bengaluru itself. Tejasvi Surya has said that this meeting is nothing short of Alibaba and Charlie's Chor. Says, have to be corrupt to join the opposition club. Second and third generation dynasts can enter the opposition club. This is Tejasvi Surya, who's the MP of Bengaluru South, who's now put out this strongly worded tweet where he condemns this opposition unity meeting, saying Alibaba and Charlie's Chor, and then says that one has to be corrupt to join this opposition club. Second or third generation dynasts can enter the opposition club. In every way, taking a jibe exactly on the lines of what Prime Minister Modi has spoken, accusing the opposition party members of being highly corrupt, to say that they have no intention for good, to do any good for this country. Their only attempt is to wriggle out from all the corruption charges and the central agencies that are currently investigating them. And the fact that they have absolutely no policy to ensure India's progress. These are as many words the BJP has said. In fact, JP Nadda himself had spoken about how the opposition netas have no niti, neta or niyat. Basically, no leader, no policy or intention. On the same lines, you also have the BJP Yuva leader, Tejasvi Surya, an MP from Bangalore South, who says this is Alibaba and Charlie's Chor's grouping. All right. Meanwhile, you have the Prime Minister, who a little earlier has trained his guns at the big opposition huddle. From corruption, casteism to dynastic politics, Prime Minister has attacked several opposition leaders, including Chief Minister of Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal, for the scams that he's allegedly involved in, Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee for the Panchayat poll violence, and Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin for the graft scandal. He's even made scathing attacks on the Gandhis, taking a jibe at the opposition mega meeting. Prime Minister has branded it as undemocratic united opposition. He slammed the huddle, saying that the opposition's motto is family first and really nothing towards the nation. He's gone on to count ED and IT raids on several opposition netas and said that all of them have united only to erase corruption charges against them. The attack comes right at a time when top opposition parties now are attending a key meeting in Bengaluru to chalk out a strategy to take on Prime Minister Modi and the BJP in 2024.
आज देश के लोग 2024 चुनाव में फिर एक बार हमारी सरकार वापस लाने का मन बना चुके हैं, निर्णय ले चुके हैं। ऐसे में भारत की बदहाली के जिम्मेदार कुछ लोग अपनी दुकान खोलकर बैठ गए हैं। इन्हें देखकर मुझे एक कविता की कुछ पंक्तियां याद आती हैं। एक कवि महाशय ने अवधी में लिखा था, ये अवधी भाषा में लिखी गई कविता है। गाइड कुछ है, हाल कुछ है, लेबिल कुछ है, माल कुछ है। 24 के लिए 26 होने वाले राजनीतिक दलों पर ये बड़ा फिट बैठता है। गाइड कुछ है, हाल कुछ है, लेबिल कुछ है और माल कुछ है। यानी गाना कोई और गाया जा रहा है, जबकि सच्चाई कुछ और है। लेबल किसी और का लगाया गया है, जबकि प्रोडक्ट कुछ और ही है। इनकी दुकान की यही सच्चाई है। इनकी दुकान पर 2 चीजों की गारंटी मिलती है। एक तो ये अपनी दुकान पर जातिवाद का जहर बेचते हैं और दूसरा ये लोग असीमित भ्रष्टाचार करते हैं। आजकल ये लोग बेंगलुरु में जुटे हैं। एक जमाने में एक गाना बहुत मशहूर था, मुझे तो पूरा याद नहीं है लेकिन मुझे याद आ रहा है। एक चेहरे पर कई चेहरे लगा लेते हैं लोग, एक चेहरे पर कई चेहरे लगा लेते हैं लोग। आप देखिए ये लोग कितने चेहरे लगाकर बैठे हैं। जब ये लोग कैमरे के सामने एक फ्रेम में आ जाते हैं तो पहला विचार देश के सामने क्या आता है? पहला विचार देश के लोगों के मन में यही आता है, पूरा फ्रेम देख करके देशवासी यही बोल उठता है, लाखों करोड़ों रुपए का भ्रष्टाचार। इसलिए देश की जनता कह रही है कि ये तो कट्टर भ्रष्टाचारी सम्मेलन हो रहा है, कट्टर भ्रष्टाचारी सम्मेलन हो रहा है। ये लोग गा कुछ और रहे हैं, हाल कुछ और है, इन्होंने लेबल कुछ और लगाया हुआ है, माल कुछ और है। इनका प्रोडक्ट है 20 लाख करोड़ रुपए के घोटाले की गारंटी। 20 लाख करोड़ रुपए के घोटाले की गारंटी। साथियों, इस बैठक की एक और खास बात है, अगर कोई करोड़ों के घोटाले में जमानत पर है तो उसे बहुत सम्मान की नजर से देखा जाता है। अगर पूरा का पूरा परिवार ही जमानत पर है तो उसकी और ज्यादा खातिरदारी होती है। अगर किसी दल का कोई वर्तमान मंत्री भ्रष्टाचार के मामले में जेल जाता है तो उसे एक्स्ट्रा नंबर देकर स्पेशल इनवाइटी बुलाकर बुलाया जाता है। अगर कोई किसी समाज का अपमान करता है, अदालत से सजा पाता है तो उसकी बड़ी आवाभगत होती है। अगर कोई अदालत से करोड़ों के घोटाले में दोषी पाया गया है तो इस बैठक में शामिल होने की उसकी क्वालिफिकेशन और बढ़ जाती है। बल्कि ये लोग तो उससे मार्गदर्शन मांगते हैं। भ्रष्टाचार को लेकर इनमें बड़ी आत्मीयता है, बड़ा प्रेम है। इसलिए 20 लाख करोड़ रुपए के भ्रष्टाचार की गारंटी देने वाले ये लोग बड़े प्रेम से, बड़ी आत्मीयता से आपस में मिल रहे हैं। साथियों, भ्रष्टाचार की इस दुकान में जुटे हुए ये सभी परिवारवाद के कट्टर समर्थक हैं। न खाता न वही, जो परिवार कहे वही सही। लोकतंत्र के लिए कहा जाता है ऑफ द पीपल, बाय द पीपल, फॉर द पीपल। लेकिन इन परिवारवादियों का मंत्र है ऑफ द फैमिली, बाय द फैमिली, फॉर द फैमिली। फैमिली फर्स्ट, नेशन नथिंग। इन लोगों का मोटो है, इनकी यही प्रेरणा है। ये लोग देश के लोकतंत्र को, देश के संविधान को अपना बंधक बनाना चाहते हैं। इनके लिए मैं यही कहना चाहूंगा, नफरत है, नफरत है, घोटाले हैं, नफरत है, घोटाले हैं, तुष्टीकरण है, मन काले हैं। नफरत है, घोटाले हैं, तुष्टीकरण है, मन काले हैं। परिवारवाद की आग के दशकों से देश हवाले हैं। साथियों, इनके लिए देश के गरीब के बच्चों का विकास नहीं, बल्कि अपने बच्चों का, अपने भाई भतीजों का विकास मायने रखता है।
This is rather a very disappointing commentary of Indian politics. That if you are with the BJP, you're pure, and if you oppose the BJP, you're somehow termed to be corrupt. And if you are BJP, you are a democratic party, and if you are against the BJP, you are a dynastic political party. I mean, this is a very disappointing comment, the political commentary which is being laid out. The NDA has put together a motley crew of political parties which don't have any presence in neither the assembly nor the parliament, and they call that an alliance. And the Congress party and other like-minded parties, including many chief ministers from regional parties, have come together to put together an alliance. The people of India will decide which alliance they want, which alliance they trust, which is the path India should go, whether a secular constitutional path is what we need to go, or do we need to go to a fundamentalist unitary idea of India, of India. Do you want India to be the Hindutva version of Iran, or do you want India to be a constitutional secular country? The people of India will decide.
फर्स्ट टाइम ऐसा हो रहा है कि अपोजिशन एजेंडा सेट कर रहा है और भाजपा बौखलाई हुई उस पर कमेंट कर रही है या फिर उसी नक्शे कदम पर चल रही है। पहली बार ऐसा हो रहा है। पहली विपक्ष की जो मीटिंग हुई पटना में, उसका परिणाम और उसकी बौखलाहट ये रही कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने महाराष्ट्र में सबसे बड़ी तोड़फोड़ की। लूट करके, लोकतंत्र को लूट के पहले से सरकार चला रहे थे, उसके बाद फिर उनको एनसीपी को भी तोड़ने की जरूरत पड़ गई। तो प्राइम मिनिस्टर किस मुंह से भ्रष्टाचार पर भाषण देते हैं? जिनके साथ भ्रष्टाचारी नेताओं की एक लंबी फहरिस्त, तो हेमंत विश्व शर्मा से लेकर के सुवेंदु अधिकारी से लेकर के, और अब जिनके ऊपर ईडी के केसेस चल रहे थे, उनको आपने मिनिस्टर बनाया, डिप्टी सीएम बनाया। तो प्रधानमंत्री किस मुंह से भ्रष्टाचार पर भाषण दे रहे हैं? हम तो सिर्फ 26 पार्टियां अलायंस में है अपोजिशन के। एनडीए के अलायंस में तो 38 पार्टीज हैं। अभी कल ही वो लिस्ट जारी हुई है। इसीलिए भाजपा इस तरह से बौखलाई हुई है।
Conclave of political parties is not new to Bangalore. Earlier also they were done. But never before IAS and IPS officers have been designated and put to do the PRO work as if they are some PRO staff. And I can understand that if there is a sitting chief minister, there is some protocol. But even if those are not chief ministers now, and they are not chief ministers at all, such people are given such a protocol, which is unprecedented, misuse of government machinery to conduct their political conclaves for the political needs. It is really shameful.
All right, even as the meeting continues in Bengaluru, the opposition unity meet. We're going to slip into a short break as we continue those developments on the other side. A lot more coming in on the WFI chief to appear in the Delhi court today, Brij Bhushan. It appears that some testimonies of wrestlers indeed reveal a harassment horror. Picture proof has surfaced against Brij Bhushan. We're going to take you through that on the other side. Stay with us.
We are standing on the ring road. You can see there's only water, water and water everywhere.
What could have been done to provide proper facilities to the people who have been affected by the Yamuna flood?
How long will it take for normalcy to return to Delhi?
The national capital now finding itself virtually submerged in water.
Grounded in journalism, on the ground reporting, in the water reporting, only on India Today TV.
Dr. Vikram Singh, police officers, the police have a sixth sense. You know, you've spent over 4 decades in the police. Given your long experience, what were red flags, and were red flags either ignored or played down initially?
The red flags are there for all of us to see. Number one, see the compatibility of Sachin and Seema. 2, no questions asked, love can be blind. Second, Seema, as per her own confession, is only class 5. But yes, her comfort level with Sindhi, Urdu, English and Hindi are amazing. Then her use and IT skill, interpersonal skills, her level of confidence, her voice, her choice of words is unnatural for a student who has just cleared class 5. Obviously, there has been mentoring, grooming and training. Then it is totally unconvincing for a person of her caliber to sell off the house and take the 4 kids and bring them to India. For whom and for what? For a person who is making 10,000 rupees a month as a palletar. It is just does not add up. Then the use of hotspot, using her IT skills, she had, of course, she was not in the lap of luxury in Sindh, Pakistan too. But yes, here, from the frying pan into the fire, there was nothing so very luxurious for her to make this hazardous journey. And yes, there are things that need to be investigated by the ATS, the use of the hotspot, the breaking of the mobile phones and the SIM cards, procurement of the identity papers at the drop of a hat. These are the things that they will have to investigate. And coming down close to the proximity of the Zevar Airport and the Hindon Air Base also needs to be evaluated, examined, and from the point of view of fieldcraft and tactics.
Traveling from different parts.
Armed with facts,
Looking at political background.
she takes the news by its horns.
Do you think the future of these students are not hampered?
Fierce, bold and direct, setting the tone for the biggest stories. From every corner and every angle. Expect nothing but the unfiltered truth.
News first, niceties later. Watch me, Nabila Jamal, on India Today.
Mohammed, you also know your Delhi unit has been calling Arvind Kejriwal, Aam Aadmi Party corrupt, especially where the liquor scam is concerned. You've been holding them responsible. You are now breaking bread with Arvind Kejriwal, who's sitting right there. But having said, okay, can I just, no, what we're going to do is, ma'am, we're going to just open the debate out. So in a lot of ways, it cuts both ways. Where a united opposition is concerned, we still do not know whether there is going to be a united opposition. You have a Mamata Banerjee who's attending the meet right now, but she's skipping the dinner, which is being hosted by Mr. Siddaramaiah. But I want to bring in Guru Paswan into this conversation. Dr. Paswan, interesting that the BJP chooses to have the NDA meet the same time that the Congress has, or the opposition, united opposition hosted by the Congress in Bengaluru is having their meet tomorrow. A tad bit insecure, Dr. Paswan?
Preeti, a very warm good evening to you and all my fellow panelists. I was patiently listening to my friend from the Congress party who made a comment on cooperative federalism, which is a bit rich coming from Congress party that has suspended more than 50 duly elected state governments. In the entire constitutional history of our country, we have seen emergency only once by the same Congress party. We have seen the same Congress party that has feared to go beyond one family. Point number one. Point number two about NDA, let me make this very clear. We are out there on a positive and constructive note. In 2014, India was the 10th largest economy. In our 9 years of governance, India is the 5th largest economy. You look at every single indicator. The IMF has said that the poverty has gone down. The World Bank is constantly praising India. IMF is saying that India is going to be the bright spot in the future. Right. But coming back to NDA, I consider NDA, the making of NDA, Preeti, was an important event in the political history of our country. And I'm sure you would remember Gadbandhan Dharma. This term was introduced to political lexicon, that Gadbandhan is also a dharma, by Bharat Ratna former Prime Minister late Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji. We are going out there on a positive and constructive agenda. On the contrary, look at what the opposition is doing. In Bihar, what is happening? In Bihar, you have a Mukesh Sahni who has left the Mahagathbandhan. In Bihar, you have a Chirag Paswan who is going to join NDA. In Bihar, you have a Dalit leader, Mahadalit leader, Jitanram Manji, who has left the Mahagathbandhan. In Bihar, you have Upendra Kushwaha. In Uttar Pradesh, you have Suhail Dev, Bharatiya Samaj Party. So it shows the elitist and the arrogant nature of the Congress party.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
Right, seems like more trouble coming in on WFI chief Brij Bhushan. He's all set to appear before the Rouse Avenue court shortly from now. The WFI boss Brij Bhushan is all set to seek bail in court. After court takes cognizance of the charge sheet, Brij Bhushan will be appearing before the Rouse Avenue court in a little while from now. In fact, he's just about left. He's on his way towards the Rouse Avenue court. He's attempting to seek bail. If at all there is arrest, he's hoping to get bail. Will be reaching the Rouse Avenue court. He's on his way. Anisha Mathur joins us. Anisha, tell us what's due to be heard in court today. We hear Brij Bhushan is on his way to court. A charge sheet, which is nearly 1,600 pages, has a lot of talk about Brij Bhushan and his sexual advances on many of the complainants. And in fact, an image also now showing very clearly his physical, the way he's really approached one of those girls. The victim's face is blurred there, but these images that have surfaced really put him all the more in the spot.
Well, Nabila,
Nabila, this is going to be the first appearance of Brijbhushan Sharan Singh in the Rouse Avenue Court since the cognizance has been taken by the Rouse Avenue Special Court in this particular case. We are waiting for Brijbhushan Sharan Singh to show up, and my cameraman Jagan is showing you the visuals of the security arrangement that's been put in here. Remember, the police has, as you just said, filed a detailed charge sheet with about 108 witnesses, some of whom have backed what the women wrestlers have said. These are 6 women wrestlers who are all international level players. These are who have alleged stalking and molestation against Brijbhushan Sharan Singh, one of whom has in fact made harrowing allegations regarding how Brijbhushan Sharan Singh, in the guise of trying to give her a hug after a win or at an event, had tried to sort of lift her t-shirt a little bit, and that these are the kind of allegations that have been made in that have also been repeated in the charge sheet that the Delhi police has now filed. As I said, we are waiting for Brijbhushan Sharan Singh to come to the court very shortly. The hearing was scheduled at around 2 o'clock, and we're waiting for Brijbhushan Sharan Singh to come. Today, of course, will be a very, very short hearing. After cognizance of the charge sheet, the procedure that happens is that the accused persons, which is Brijbhushan Sharan Singh and Vinod Tomar, who is also a WFI official, they will be appearing in the court. They will be given a copy of the charge sheet. The copy of the charge sheet has been given to them. They are most likely to seek bail in the case, because they are most likely to argue that so far they have not been arrested by the Delhi police during the investigation, and therefore they should not be arrested now that cognizance has already been taken of the charge sheet and all the evidence has already been collected. That is likely to be the argument from them. But as you can see, heavy rain here, and even in this heavy rain, police deployment is being properly done. Barricades have been set up to ensure that no untoward incident happens, as Brijbhushan Sharan Singh is expected to reach shortly. At this moment, we spoke to the lawyers for the wrestlers. What they have said is that it is unlikely for the wrestlers, the senior wrestlers at least, to reach court today. But some other supporters may also reach the Rouse Avenue court, and which is exactly why the police has set up this kind of barricading to ensure that no protests or any other untoward incident happens. I'm going to keep showing you the visuals of this area as we await Brijbhushan Singh's entry into the Rouse Avenue court. Back to you.
All right, stay with us, Anisha. What we know of now is that there's a damning photograph as proof that's come out on the wrestlers' dangle for justice, even as they're hoping to get justice in this case. There's this one picture that's quite incriminating. There are photographs that confirm WFI boss Brijbhushan's presence at that event where the alleged sexual incident, the sexual harassment incident took place, as claimed by those victims. Now, these form really part of crucial evidence. This is technical and crucial evidence in the Delhi police's charge sheet against Brijbhushan Sharan Singh. 2 photographs allegedly show him making advances towards one of those complainants. India Today has accessed 1,599, almost 1,600 page charge sheet that's been filed by the police against Brijbhushan, in which a total of 108 people have recorded their statements, and out of which 15 of them have given their statements in support of the aggrieved wrestlers. Now, there are a total of 44 witnesses in the charge sheet. Meanwhile, in the testimony given by 6 women wrestlers, there's a mention of 10 such cases in which there's allegations of molestation. The BJP MP now faces serious charges of sexual harassment, inappropriate touching, intimidation and stalking. WFI Chief Brijbhushan will now be appearing before the Delhi court today to answer those charges of sexual harassment against him, and he's also hoping to seek bail. Anisha, tell us more on what's going to really be happening in court. Give us really the agenda that will be followed in court today, as Brijbhushan is just moments away from the court venue.
Well, Nabila, I'm continuing to show you the visuals of the security arrangements outside the Rouse Avenue court, and as lawyers are also coming in now. Now, as I was saying, today is the first time that Brijbhushan Sharan Singh is going to be appearing here. He's been summoned after the court has taken cognizance of the charge sheet against him. Remember, in the procedure that is likely to happen is that Brijbhushan Sharan Singh as well as Vinod Tomar will be appearing in the court. They will mark their presence before the judge, and then copies of the charge sheet have been will be given to them. They will also get a chance to raise their plea before them. What we've been told, what we've been informed is that because the cognizance has been taken, Bhushan Sharan Singh as well as Vinod Tomar are both likely to ask for statutory bail. Remember, the procedure is that a person who has been arrested prior to cognizance or even not arrested prior to cognizance, once a charge sheet is filed and cognizance has been taken, they can then ask for bail. In Bhushan's case, of course, he will be arguing that since he's not been arrested so far, and even the police in their charge sheet have said that he has been cooperating with the investigation, therefore he's likely to argue that he should not in fact be arrested. We are keeping a sharp eye on all the movement around here, but so far Bhushan Sharan Singh and Vinod Tomar have not reached the Rouse Avenue court. Once they do reach, we will be giving you minute by minute updates of what is happening inside. The hearing is scheduled at around 2 p.m. and as far as the bail issue is concerned, it is highly likely, unless the police decides to vehemently oppose the bail, Bhushan Singh as well as Vinod Tomar would most likely walk out from the Rouse Avenue court with copies of the charge sheet and the date for the next hearing in this case, because it is highly unlikely for people who've not been arrested prior to cognizance of the charge sheet to then get arrested afterwards. Of course, the wrestlers have been demanding the arrest of Bhushan Sharan Singh and as well as Vinod Tomar. We've seen over the last several months the kind of protests that happened out.
You've also heard at the same time that the same police who filed the charge sheet, Anisha, have said that Bhushan has been cooperating with the investigation, therefore they haven't arrested him. This is the first time he's going to be appearing before the Rouse Avenue court. A charge sheet of nearly 1,600 pages filed, where there is also proof of a photograph that is technical and crucial evidence that suggests that he did make some sexual advances towards one of those victims. We're going to continue tracking those developments. You could log on to indiatoday.in. You could also download our app for a lot more on that. For now, we're slipping into a short break. We'll be right back with the headlines on the other side.
हमने किसी की हत्या कर डाली हो ऐसा हमें लग रहा है। सरकार से ये चाहता हूँ, हाथ जोड़कर रिक्वेस्ट है, यहाँ पर आ जाए। अगर अभी हिंदू मुस्लिम कहीं हो गया होता तो सारे नेता वहाँ पर होते।
The blue-colored construction that you see there is a cow shelter located just below a bridge in Delhi. But the floods didn't spare it, and many cows and other animals were left stuck, battling for their lives.
काफी गायें जो हैं वो पूरी डूब चुकी हैं, जिनके अंदर पेट में पानी भर चुका है। 3 सांड मैंने अपनी आंखों से देखे हैं जो बुरी तरह से फूल के और तैर रहे हैं उसमें, जो मर चुके हैं।
अंदर स्नेक घूम रहे हैं, सांप घूम रहे हैं गौशाला में, और सांड आपस में लड़ रहे हैं। गाय एक दूसरे की तरफ भाग रही है, दौड़ रही है, टक्कर मार रही है। उनमें से गाय को पकड़ के रस्सा मारना और यहाँ तक लेके आना, आप देख लीजिए कि गौरक्षक गुंडे या सेवक है, आज यहाँ पता चल जाएगा। सारी गायों के रस्से बंधे हुए थे, अगर पानी का लेवल और बढ़ जाता तो वो गाय तो वहीं डूब के मर जाती सबकी सब।
However, these Gaurakshaks allege that no one from the government came to the rescue.
ये जमुना में ये गौशाला बना रखी है, 2-3 दिन पहले इनको नोटिस भी मिला होगा, ये गौशाला क्यों नहीं खाली करवाई गई? कोई भी सरकार की तरफ से मदद नहीं है। गौ सेवक लगे हुए हैं, गौरक्षक लगे हुए हैं, बस ये बोट जरूर आई थी, बाकी तो सारी गाय हम वहीं से खोल के और यहाँ तक ला रहे हैं और ट्रीटमेंट भी करा रहे हैं।
कैसे ला रहे हैं?
बोट के साथ 2-2 गाय बांध कर ला रहे हैं। इलाज चल रहा है, हमारे डॉक्टर भी हमारे पर्सनल आए हुए हैं। यहाँ तक तो दिल्ली सरकार ने वेटनरी डॉक्टर भी यहाँ पर अभी तक नहीं भेजे हैं।
But as for the government, they're doing all they can.
देखिए, उसके लिए एनडीआरएफ की भी मदद दी जा रही है और डिस्ट्रिक्ट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को भी कहा गया है कि हर संभव मदद दी जाए और जानवरों को निकाल के सेफ जगहों पे लाया जाए।
This man you see here is the owner of the cow shelter. He has been taking care of the shelter for the past 13 years. When asked why the shelter was constructed near a flood-prone area, he claimed to have never witnessed such a calamity here before.
गौशाला है ना, वहाँ काफी अच्छी हाइट करवा रखी है। मतलब आप पुल के लेवल में अगर आप जाओगे तो पुल का लेवल है पूरा, वो उस हिसाब से भराव करा के तो वहाँ गौशाला बनाई गई। जीवन में पहली बार ऐसा अनुभव हुआ, आपको बताएं। और बाढ़ तो हर साल आई,
पर वो पानी बार बार जमुना में आशीर्वाद दे के चली गई।
Meanwhile, animal rescue scenes across Delhi NCR were also witnessed. In Noida also, many dog shelters were found inundated with rainwater.
On 13th July at about 4:30, the flood water started entering our shelter. We started evacuating dogs. We have about 350 sick dogs, and we managed to evacuate almost all of them so far, after rescue operations of about 30-35 hours. We have lost our entire solar panels, our entire refrigerator, our appliances, our oxygen concentrator, our treatment tables, all our medicines, food, everything. We have lost like everything. Thankfully, our dogs are safe. We have had a few casualties as well because of drowning.
We hope that the water that has crippled the lives of not just humans but also of our communities, animals and wildlife recedes and normalcy prevails.
It's often said that a rhythm is the essence of nature. The sun rising and setting almost at the same time is a rhythm. Eating along with the rise of the sun and before the sun is down is the rhythm that our body can adapt to and does wonders for our health. Jain scriptures talk about eating before sundown. The sun cycle diet, when you eat when the sun is up and stop eating when the sun is down, is called the circadian diet. So why is it a good diet to follow?
The circadian rhythm is a 24-hour internal body clock in humans. Your body functions best when it is in sync with the sun. And what I mean is, you start eating when the sun is up and stop eating when the sun is down. Your cortisol is highest in the early hours of the day, which gets your metabolism up and running. It's the best time for digestion. Whereas melatonin, which is the sleep hormone, does the exact opposite. It puts you to sleep. Let me take you through why when you eat is as important as what you eat.
The surges and dips in cortisol and melatonin correspond with sunrise and sunset. Cortisol rises in the earlier hours of the day, which gets the metabolism up and running. Whereas melatonin, which is the sleep hormone released as we move towards night, does the exact opposite. Food intake during circadian evening, when the melatonin is higher than cortisol in your body, disrupts this rhythm, thereby increasing fat content in your body as food will not be metabolized properly. As you move towards night, the tendency to store calories as fat is higher. During the day, cortisol is highest, stimulating.
A very good afternoon. You're watching India Today. I'm Nabila Jamal. India Today tracking every development coming in from the opposition unity meet that's currently happening in Bengaluru. And a little while from now, the NDA show of strength is all set to start. Taking you through that, the headlines first. Prime Minister Modi's unsparing attack on the opposition says the family first, nation is nothing for the opposition parties. Reiterates Prime Minister's 20 lakh crore graph attack on the opposition.
गाइड कुछ है, हाल कुछ है, लेबल कुछ है, माल कुछ है। 24 के लिए 26 होने वाले राजनीतिक दलों पर ये बड़ा फिट बैठता है।
Mega opposition huddle in Bengaluru that's currently underway. Mallikarjun Kharge says the Congress is not interested in Prime Minister's post. Sonia says a new name of the united opposition shouldn't have India in English, should have a Hindi word like Bharat in it. NDA counter-strike on united opposition. BJP and 38 allies meet Prime Minister Modi to attend this mega NDA huddle. WFI chief Brij Bhushan to appear in Delhi court in any moment now. In fact, the court takes cognizance of the charge sheet. Shocking testimonies of wrestlers reveal harassment horror. A picture proof is surfaced against Brij Bhushan showing sexual advances. Tamil Nadu Mantri Ponmudi grilled for over 8 hours at Chennai ED office. Summoned yet again for grilling at 4 p.m. today. All right, as the opposition meet now continues in Bengaluru, we're seeing all the opposition netas coming together to attack the BJP one after the other. We bring to you all their voices from Bengaluru. The opposition meet has just begun with all the top regional leaders who are coming together for a discussion on how to really form this united alliance and ensure that they are capable enough to take on the BJP. While deliberations are currently underway, here you have the opposition party netas outrightly attacking the BJP right before the meeting. In fact, Arvind Kejriwal was one who spoke to the media saying that Modi has made a mess of this country in the last 10 years of his rule. Mamata Banerjee says such a meeting is beneficial for India. Lalu Prasad says have to save democracy, the farmers and the youth, and therefore an alliance like this is mandatory. Let's have a listen.
I think it is important because